Today and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. WBAP salutes Louisville. Louisville, thank you for listening today to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
This hour on WBAP is brought to you by the Will Height Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Go to willheightwins.com.
Hey there, welcome. This is The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM. Thank you. Welcome to the big show. Welcome back. Happy Monday. I know a lot of people hate Mondays. Get over it. It's only going to be Monday for a few more hours. Top story of the day is we are all looking forward to the court's decision on what are we going to do with this fella who used to be president, who's not president now, but wants to be president again. And a couple of states have said, we, sir, do not want you on the ballot. And he said, well, I think I should be on the ballot. And some guys in black robes are going to make that decision pretty soon. It's getting kicked up to the Supreme Court. And you're not just going to hear my silly thoughts about it. I have a political science professor from SMU. So it's not just me shooting from the hip here. Dr. Matthew Wilson, thank you for joining the James Show on WBAP. Welcome. All right, I'll do this first. There you go. All right, Professor Wilson, define insurrection.
Well, that's the $64,000 question, isn't it?
Isn't it? Right.
It's an insurrection. I would say an insurrection constitutes taking up arms against the government of the United States. That's the kind of most common sense definition of what constitutes an insurrection, an attempt to forcibly overthrow the government of the United States.
Does January 6th meet that definition?
Well, I think it depends on what individual participating in the events of January 6th you're talking about. My sense is that there was a small core of individuals there that day to whom that could really apply. I mean, those people were there in tactical combat gear, and they were there ready for business, if you will. And then there's a much larger set of people who were just there to protest, to vent, to show anger. Those people were not intending to engage in insurrection. But of course, we're not here really talking about either of those sets of people. We're talking about the former president, right?
Yes.
And what his activities on January 6th constituted. In my personal judgment, it is a stretch and a reach to say that Donald Trump engaged in insurrection against the United States. Now, people can disapprove of his actions or inactions on that day, but disapproving of how he conducted himself that day is different than saying he engaged in a forcible attempt to overthrow the government of the United States.
I think one of the key words you use there is it has to be an armed attempt to overthrow, or to the use of arms. And okay, so I didn't see anybody with guns in the crowd on January 6th, nor did I see Donald Trump accuse anyone. Is that enough to disqualify it as an insurrection? Because the Supreme Court of Colorado and Maine disagree with me.
Well, the Supreme Court of Colorado and then one election official in Maine.
Is that how it worked?
Yeah, right. It was just the Maine Secretary of State who made this determination to remove him from the ballot, which is why ultimately this is going to have to be determined by the U.S. Supreme Court, because you can't have a patchwork of various elected officials in all these states around the country making these determinations on their own. My sense is that what Donald Trump did on January 6th, whatever you think of it, does not match the kind of commonly understood definition of what constitutes an insurrection. Insurrection seems to be something that rises to a higher level of intentionality and direct involvement than what we saw from President Trump on that day. Again, whatever you think of his actions on that day, The only relevant question here is whether they clearly qualify as having engaged in insurrection against the United States.
All right, now let me ask you, because you're going to know more about this than me and the guy listening. How was this wording applied in contemporary times when the 14th Amendment was passed? We know it was intended to be aimed at the people who tried to split off this country and make the Confederate States of America. But how did they define the words in real time when it was passed?
Well, that was clearly what they had in mind. I mean, the intent of this provision was to apply to former Confederate soldiers and officers, people who had taken up arms against the United States, gone into formal rebellion and secession, and who actually fought a war against the armed forces of the United States. So that's a pretty high bar. That was the example that they had in mind. Now, what we're debating is, but did they also mean to include theoretically actions that would fall short of that, but still constitute insurrection? And that's the much murkier, grayer area. But what they had in mind at the time was quite clearly something like the armed conflict of the U.S. Civil War.
Well, I see comments on social media saying, well, no one's been convicted of insurrection, definitely not Donald Trump, so I don't think that should apply to him. And I think that might be wrongheaded, too, because I don't think Jefferson Davis was ever taken to trial and convicted of insurrection. But we all know the wording in that amendment was meant to stop him from ever being president.
Him and more than that, also at the local level, to stop former Confederate officers from taking power and stymieing the efforts at Reconstruction. So, I mean, Jefferson Davis is one person they have in mind, but it was broader than that. But the key thing here is that all of the people that it contemplated were former Confederate soldiers and officers, that is, people who had formally taken up arms against the United States. And that's a far cry from what we saw on January 6th, certainly from what we saw from President Trump on January 6th.
Okay, so when there was the protest where they had the Chaz/CHOP, they tried to secede from the United States and make their own little autonomous zone, and I think that was that Seattle or Portland or one of those two. Would that count as an insurrection?
Yeah. Well, so I think you could certainly argue that it would, but here's the issue. It doesn't really matter in the sense that, as far as I know, no one who participated in those was a former officer of the United States who had taken an oath to uphold the Constitution. See, that's the key thing. Donald Trump, having been president, took a formal oath as an officer of the United States to uphold the Constitution. And as far as I know, nobody who participated in those actions in Seattle or Portland was a former officer of the United States government.
When I am trying to figure out how the Supreme Court is going to rule on this, I get different answers depending on the source I read, because half the country thinks that there's no way that you can kick a guy off a ballot. It's never been done before, and this is the flimsiest of all excuses. And then you read the other side of the political spectrum, and they're like, of course he did an insurrection. We all saw it with our own eyes, and anybody who's not crazy knows he does not deserve to be on the ballot. How do you explain to the layman out there who doesn't know who to believe?
Well, my guess is that the Supreme Court will allow him to stay on the ballot. I could be wrong, but removing the front runner, and that's what Donald Trump is right now. In most of the polling, he is the leading candidate for president of the United States. To remove the leading candidate for president of the United States from the ballot based on a controversial and marginal definitional account of what constitutes insurrection would be a really dicey move for American democracy. I think the Supreme Court will be extremely unlikely to do that and will look for any plausible reason to leave this in the hands of the voters and to let them decide whether Donald Trump deserves another term as president, rather than creating the chaos of having him on some state ballots but not on others, because that's what it would be. It would be absolute chaos if Donald Trump is on some states' ballots but is stricken off others, and then we'd have a real meltdown this electoral cycle.
All right, I've got like 30 seconds and two more questions. Can you hang on with me for about 4 minutes? And I want to get some time for you to answer these last two questions. We're talking with SMU political science professor Matthew Wilson, and the question is: should Trump be removed from the ballot for insurrection in these states? Should the Supreme Court say what you can expect next? And if you have any questions, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM.
Coming up Tuesday on WBAP's Morning News at 5:07, who won the NCAA Football National Championship game? At 6:17, President Biden makes his first trip to Dallas since becoming president to attend the wake of Eddie Bernice Johnson. Did everything go off without a hitch?
Nicole Osei has your news at the top and bottom of the hour. Monty Cook has your traffic on the ones, and Steve Lamb with sports Tuesday on WBAP's Morning News.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
This is Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. When a fellow Texan is hurt in an accident, I take it to heart. Our firm wins Texas-sized settlements for our clients. Get your free case review at WilhiteWins.com. That's WilhiteWins.com.
Prior results do not guarantee similar outcome.
Hi, I'm Brad Barton. Do you want the fastest way to know what your home would sell for? Reach out to Dan Harker and Empower Home Team. Simply text your address to 800-763-3000. 800-763-3000. That's 800-763-3000.
If you have cancer, you have a powerful choice. An advanced cancer treatment available right here in North Texas at Texas Center for Proton Therapy. Proton therapy precisely targets your cancer, sparing healthy tissue for fewer side effects. No doctor's referral is needed, so visit TexasProtons.com to find out if you're a candidate. Powerful cancer treatment, a powerful choice. The power of proton therapy at Texas Center for Proton Therapy.
I'm back to doing what I love and more.
Hi, this is Brandy with the Good Feet store. Do you have a hard time standing at work because of foot pain? When you come home, are your feet killing you? This is Angie, a real Good Feet customer who has similar problems.
You know, you might have a great shoe, but you just don't have great support in the shoe. It didn't matter whether I spent $20 or whether I spent $120, the pain was still there. And then I found the Good Feet store. I got fitted for these great arch supports, and now the pain is gone. It is amazing because I've suffered from that for a long time.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Visit the Good Feet store today. Go to goodfeet.com to find the nearest location to you.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. There's no waiting required. Good Feet products are immediately available and proudly made in the USA.
Expect some heavy delays through Dallas today or this evening on 35E and Highway 67 because of the arrival of President Biden. He'll be showing up at Love Field around 6:15 tonight and then heading down to Concord Church in South Dallas. 20 westbound. Right now we have a crash that's blocking the left lane and the right shoulder at Duncanville Road. That's causing a jam from Cockrell Hill. 30 eastbound at Big Town Boulevard. A crash in the right lane has you stop and go from Loop 12 Buckner Boulevard. And in Arlington, 360 southbound, there's a crash blocking the exit for westbound I-20. You can exit Mayfield and just follow the frontage road around the bend. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
Brought to you by the Common Sense Investing Show with Victor McClure.
Tune in to the Common Sense Investing Show with Victor McClure, now heard every Sunday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WBAP. Learn how to have a stress-free retirement and get great insights into the market. For more information or to hear an old show, go to ilovemyretirement.com.
This report is sponsored by TruckWreck.com.
I'm attorney Mark Frankel. When you're injured in a car wreck, talking to the insurance company can be one of the worst things you do. When they call, just tell them your lawyers are Frankel and Frankel. I promise they have my number.
FRENKEL. Call Frankel first.
Stimulating talk. News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey Hey there, welcome back. This is the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. We're talking with SMU political science professor. His name is Matthew Wilson, and he has a little more in-depth knowledge than I do when it comes to this question on Donald Trump going to the Supreme Court. He's been kicked off the ballot in 2 states. Should he be back allowed on the ballot? And, you know, the answer I get from the people I talk to doesn't seem to hinge on what the 14th Amendment said or what the lawyer said in the court case or really the originalist intent of the Constitution. I have noticed, Professor Wilson, that the likelihood of them agreeing with Trump or not depends on whether or not they support him politically. People's emotions and people's pre-existing opinion on this guy give you the best indicator on whether or not they think this is a good case or a garbage case.
Yes, sadly, that is a major predictor. And like with all things Donald Trump, a lot of people's good judgment goes out the window when they start considering Trump-related things, whether they're people who love Donald Trump or they're people who hate Donald Trump. Either their love for him or their hatred for him tends to crowd out other considerations and tends to color everything. And so, yes, I agree with you that people's take on how plausible this court case and this attempt to keep him off the ballot really does seem largely determined by their pre-existing partisan allegiances.
So I have 2 more questions here. Number 1 is, what happens if they rule either way? So just tell me, like, sort of spitball what's going to happen. Because if they say that the Colorado and Maine are wrong, does that mean it's over? Does that mean that they're going to appeal? Or does that mean they're going to retry with a different wording and have to kick it back up? Does that mean other states are going to chime in? Does that mean it's over? And then conversely, if they do rule that, well, you know, Colorado and Maine can do whatever they want with their primary ballots, does that mean other states are going to start knocking them off too?
So there is no appeal from the U.S. Supreme Court. So whatever the Supreme Court rules is the final word in these cases. And that would set a precedent that presumably would be clear for other states. And if other states tried to not, that is, if the Supreme Court rules in Trump's favor, then they could send a signal that, you know, any other states that tried to kick him off the ballot, they would grant expedited review and issue the same judgment and put him back on the ballot. So I think that would effectively end it if the Supreme Court rules in Trump's favor. If the Supreme Court rules against Trump, then we have a real mess, because then this becomes a state-by-state decision of whether Trump would stay on the ballot or not. And then you'll have all kinds of other unintended consequences, like there's already an effort in Texas to throw Joe Biden off the ballot, which, frankly, I mean, that's ridiculous. Joe Biden should not be thrown off the ballot. But people are going to lash out like that, right, if they're angry about Trump being thrown off the ballot. And likewise, there are moves in a variety of states to try to disqualify other Republican candidates, members of Congress who they think were too supportive of the rioters on January 6th and thus and such. And so this could really spiral into a crisis situation for the fall's elections.
Has this ever happened before? Has anyone ever been kicked off a ballot? Or should I say, has it even been attempted before?
There was a push a couple years back to remove Madison Cawthon in North Carolina, a member of Congress, from the ballot based on these same kinds of considerations. But it became moot because he lost his primary. He was defeated in the Republican primary anyway, and so it kind of fizzled. Other than that, this is not something that has been invoked since the time when it was drafted, that is, in the aftermath of the Civil War.
Doesn't that make it a little more suspect?
People who are trying to do this say, well, yeah, because, you know, most elected officials wouldn't dream of engaging in insurrection against the United States, but they claim Donald Trump did. And so that's why we're in this sort of uncharted territory. All
right. The other question, myself as a layman, am dying to ask a professor, because we're talking with SMU political science professor Matthew Wilson, is this whole situation where I am seeing calls that Clarence Thomas has to recuse himself. So I go try and understand it myself. And the argument is, well, his wife has spoken out in favor of the insurrectionists. And so because his wife has an opinion on a case, he's not allowed to hear a case. That sounds incredibly flimsy. You know, we've seen previous Supreme Court justices express opinions themselves, not even via their spouse, and still allowed to hear a case. Ruth Bader Ginsburg could go speak in front of every pro-abortion group in America, and she didn't have to recuse herself from an abortion-related case. Does this hold any merit, or is this people just looking for straws trying to get Clarence Thomas out of the box?
Yeah, I think it's largely the latter. Clarence Thomas is not going to recuse himself from this case because, as you say, the spouse of a Supreme Court justice has the right to hold and to express whatever political opinions he or she wishes. That does not impinge on the justice's eligibility to participate in deliberations. Now, if the justice's spouse has a tangible interest, like a business interest or financial interest in the outcome of a case, that's a different story. Then the person really does have an ethical obligation to recuse themselves. But in this case, just the fact that Jenny Thomas, has expressed strong political opinions surrounding the events of January 6th, I don't think that will prompt a recusal from Clarence Thomas.
How long is this going to take? Are we going to have an answer pretty soon?
I think yes. I think that's why the Supreme Court took it on an expedited basis, why they're going to, hear this in February, because they know that these primaries are coming up and they need a definitive judgment about this before the primary season begins, because the primaries start rolling in February. And we really need an answer as to whether this is going to be put to bed or whether we are going to have that kind of unfolding chaos that I mentioned before.
Well, this is the level of political nuance that I think turns a lot of people off, myself included. When I turn on to one platform and they're like, of course, you can see with your own eyes it's not an insurrection. And then I'm reading an article from James Zirin on The Hill, thehill.com. He's a former prosecutor from New York, but he's writing for these guys now. He says, of course it was an insurrection. You can see it with your own eyes. That makes me just want to check out.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. And the question is, it was an insurrection. Well, what is the it that they're referring to? I mean, I think pretty clearly what some of the people on January 6th did could, very plausibly be called an insurrection. But was Donald Trump specifically involved with the planning or encouragement or facilitation of that? That's a much harder case to make. And so I think necessarily we do get into some legal nuances here because, this is a really complicated situation with hugely important consequences for the health of our democracy. And here's the tough thing. People on both sides will say if they lose this case, that is a grievous blow to democracy. So that's where we are right now in our politics.
Oh, my God. And these people make me roll my eyes so hard. I'm glad to just have someone with a little background to explain some of this, because this is really just eye-rolling for the layman out there, Matthew Wilson. So I thank you for taking the time.
No, happy to do it.
All right. Yeah, and look, is this a decent comparison? When I try to explain, I don't try and change people's mind just to explain my point. I'm like, here's why it's not an insurrection. When this was written, they were talking about people who wanted to make another country, the Confederate States, that had another constitution with another president that was probably going to be in another capital. And for the people in January 6th, were they trying to get rid of the Constitution? Were they trying to overthrow the government? I think not. Thank you very much for your time, Matthew. I got to run. Thank you for your time. Political science professor from SMU, Matthew Wilson. If you got a comment for the show, this is a good time to get it in there. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM.
This is Ernie Brown here with Jeff Jr., owner of Trajan Wealth, talking about 401ks. I've always heard 401ks were great, but you're telling me something different.
Well, 401ks are great when you're employed there. However, if you're no longer employed, you probably don't want to keep that 401k with your old employer, and you probably don't want to roll that old 401k into your new employer's plan.
Really? Why is that?
Well, most 401ks have limited investment options and can cost you thousands of dollars more in fees. And that's true even if you roll it over into your new employer's 401k. You also lose a lot of control by leaving your 401k with your old employer. If the company sells or merges, they often freeze it.
That's a great insight. If you have a 401k with an old employer, stop what you're doing and call Trajan Wealth. 469-579-3500. That's 469-579-3500. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor, paid advertisement.
In today's economy, it's very important to make wise, calculated decisions. And it's no different when you need to choose contractors to take care of your home. Whether you're needing a contractor for maintenance, repair, or to add elements to your home, Doing your homework and lowering your risk is very important. That's why you should find your contractors on thegoodcontractorslist.com. Thegoodcontractorslist.com presents contractors from every field of home service that we not only background checked and interviewed face-to-face, we also feel confident enough in their quality and way of doing business that we back every job they do with a $10,000 guarantee to the homeowner. Why sort through all the choices on the search engines and still be on your own when you can find hand-selected contractors on thegoodcontractorslist.com and have a third-party guarantee to back you up? We believe your wisest decision when hiring contractors is using thegoodcontractorslist.com. That's thegoodcontractorslist.com.
If the job's not right, we'll get it fixed. Only at the Good Contractors List.
Hi, Brad Barton for Red Mountain Weight Loss. You hear a lot about Ozempic helping people with type 2 diabetes control their glucose, and in the process, they manage to lose some weight. But it's a weekly shot in the doctor's office, and it can upset your stomach along with other side effects. Well, Red Mountain Weight Loss now has its own prescription semaglutide that comes in tablet form. No doctor visits, no side effects, just weight loss up to 15 pounds a month and at half the price of Ozempic. Find out more. Just go to redmountainweightloss.com. That's redmountainweightloss.com.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
And now on FM at 93.3. Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus media station. Trending now.
Congressional leaders reach a budget deal. I'm Eric Bushman from the newsspray.com WBAP 24/7 News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
Expect heavy traffic and intermittent road closures through Dallas this evening because of the visit of President Joe Biden. He'll be arriving at Love Field around 6:15 and then heading down to Concord Church in South Dallas for the wake of Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. We also have a crash right now in Duncanville, 20 westbound at Duncanville Road. Left lane and right shoulder are blocked off. Your stop and go from Cockrell Hill. 30 eastbound at Big Town Boulevard. We have a crash in the right lane. That's causing a jam from Loop 12 Buckner Boulevard. Carrollton, southbound 35E before Beltline. Right lane also blocked by a crash here. That's causing a jam from Sandy Lake. And northbound 35E at Hunley Drive in Lake Dallas. 2 right lanes gone. You're backed up from Lake Dallas Drive. With WBAP, first traffic and weather on the ones. I'm Colin Ellis.
Why do so many Texans love Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? Who else has 63 acres with massive savings? New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, got 'em. Why go anywhere else? Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
The WBAP forecast. Wind advisories in effect through 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Showers and thunderstorms moving out this afternoon. High around 63. It is 55 in Dallas and in Fort Worth. This news brought to you by the Good Contractors List. A North Texas woman charged with capital murder and arson in connection to a Christmas Eve fire.
The fire at the Tides of Meadowbrook on King George Drive in Fort Worth claimed the lives of 2 people. Police arrested 35-year-old Kristen Lewis after a joint investigation revealed the blaze was intentionally set. The Fort Worth Fire Department says the 2 victims were living inside a vacant unit with 4 others when an altercation occurred and Lewis allegedly started the fire. The blaze destroyed the entire building and left dozens of people displaced. Nicole Osei, WBAP News.
Your money news. Congressional leaders reached a government funding deal over the weekend. Congresswoman Nicole Miliotakis of New York told Fox Business the bill will save taxpayers money.
We passed that legislation. It was a little under 1.6 trillion, and the bottom line is that is 2 trillion of savings over the next decade in terms of the deficit. And I think that's important to recognize. This is the largest taxpayer savings in history.
The agreement on overall spending levels comes as a January 19th government shutdown deadline approaches. The Dow is up 151 points, NASDAQ up 294, the S&P 500 up by 57. Again, the high today around 63. It is 55 degrees in both Dallas and Fort Worth. This news also brought to you by Mueller, Inc. I'm Eric Bushman. Your next news update is at 3 o'clock. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected. DFW to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Maybe the football gods were looking down on the Dallas Cowboys this season because they've gone from being a wild card team and having to go on the road in the playoffs to being at home next Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. From our Mullen & Mullen Law Firm Sports Desk, I'm Steve Lamb. Cowboys wrapped up the regular season, crushing Washington 38-10. They win the NFC East and finish as the number 2 seed in the conference behind the 49ers.
When I was with most of you when we met first time in Oxford, I truly couldn't have drawn it up to be any better than this if I were asking for all the orders. So proud of these guys, and they've earned it. They've done it the hard way.
Cowboys owner, GM Jerry Jones, on a football high after that win in our nation's capital, and knowing that they're playing at home. And if they win, they'd be at home the week after that.
The team should be proud of a 2 seed in the division championship because I'm proud of them. But most importantly, it's playoff time. And we need to play our best football. It doesn't matter who we play, where we play them, and that has to be our mindset.
Head coach Mike McCarthy, after they finished 12-5 for the 3rd season in a row. And now he gets ready to face the team that fired him back in 2018. That's your check on sports. I'm Steve Lamb.
Brought to you by Balance of Nature.
Balance of Nature. Get your daily recommended whole fruits and vegetables by calling 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and get free shipping and 35% off your first order by using discount code Dallas. That's discount code Dallas.
Shane again with Mullen & Mullen Injury Law Firm. I don't have a funny nickname or a silly TV spot. We do have over 40 years experience helping injured North Texans and consistent top results per topverde.com. Call 214-INJURE. If no recovery, no expense or fees. Been that way since 83. MullenandMullen.com.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. At Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance, you can save up to 60% on select mattresses. Plus, score a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Here's to better sleep in 2024. The right mattress matters, and Mattress Firm will find yours.
Breaking news, traffic, and weather alerts sent instantly to your phone. Sign up today by downloading the free WBAP app. Keep connected, DFW.
News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome back. This is the James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM. Thank you very much. So I just talked to a political science professor from SMU about the court case and that's about to be heard by the Supreme Court on whether or not Trump should be off the ballot in Colorado and Maine. What say you? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. This is Ron in Garland. What do you think, Ron?
Good afternoon. Well, like I asked the screen a while ago, so we've got Denver. I keep on saying Denver. We've got Colorado and Maine that's taking him off the ballot. Okay, so let's say the election, he's in the election. So if those are the 2 states that he needs the electoral votes, what do you do then? Where's the democracy? That's what I ask him. Where is the democracy? If they want to keep screaming about all this crap, has anybody? Are we in bizarro world or something? To let people get away with this stuff, and then I guarantee you an insurrection, if the Supreme Court even leans the other way, then there's going to be an insurrection for sure,
Well, I hear in your voice exactly what a lot of us are feeling. And how on earth, because when you said it's a bizarro world, I've said that exact same sentence. How on earth does kicking people off the ballot secure our democracy? How on earth do you think that when you're doing the same thing that Hugo Chavez did with his political opponents, that Vladimir Putin did with his political opponents, that Fidel Castro did with his political opponents, when you go through the annals of history, it is full of corrupt tyrants kicking their political opponents off the ballot. And when we read about that, we're like, oh, of course that's wrong. He's just being a silly, overbearing, non-democratic tyrant, clearly. But then it happens in our own backyard, and they're like, well, this is how you protect democracy. Super frustrating. I hear you on all counts, Ron.
Yeah, this is where votes count. So people need to get up off their dead butts and go vote and get this trash out of Washington and everywhere else.
Well, see,
getting rid of your John Cornyn's. That's where you have to start. Get rid of your John Cornyn's and all these other losers.
I love the sound of that. I love the sound because, look, Ron, when you start primarying out incumbents, that lets me know that you are not blindly supporting a party. You are supporting a set of principles, and the party's not living up to it, and you're holding them to account. Listen to Ron, guys. That part, I think he's absolutely right on. Thank you very much for calling, Ron and Garland. And if you want to be next, 800-288-9227. 800-288. That cleverly spells WBAP. Yes, and like that's a real insurrection. It would be the first insurrection where no one took a weapon. It would be the first insurrection since guns have been invented that no one took a gun. And before that, there would be the first insurrection where there wasn't a sword, there wasn't a crossbow, there wasn't a club, there wasn't an axe, there wasn't... I mean, this is what you call an insurrection? Getting mad and loitering through the Capitol. I mean, how many air quotes insurrections have we seen since then? They just occupied Speaker McCarthy's office like a month ago. I don't know if there was any reports on a wayward Duke or a stolen podium, but wasn't like a threat to our entire democracy. And we hammer on that word too much. This is not supposed to be a straight up democracy. There are downsides that they talked about in the Federalist Papers and the Constitutional Convention. And when they said, what kind of government is this going to be? They expressly decided not a democracy because that's just mob rule. That's not individual rights. That's all based on 50% plus one. And if you think that's a good way to run the country, then you really hadn't put a lot of thought into it. All right. If you have any comments, questions, from the professor, from Ron and Garland, or the court case that's looming over, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. The funny part is, this is all hinging off, this court case and these arguments are all hinging off January 6th. And something that you and I have found comical is this event. It definitely is not an insurrection. I dare call it a riot. Because there's certain elements to riots. There has to be violence. There has to be, broken windows, probably something burning. And so we did get broken windows, a few here and there. Not all of them were broken out. But we didn't have any dumpsters set on fire. No one ran into a Foot Locker and came out with an arm full of shoe boxes. No one went and looted a Target or a 7-Eleven. No one got a sugar-free Red Bull or just one of those blue Monster energy drinks. No one stole anything except for maybe the podium. I don't know. It just seems so weird that this was supposed to be an insurrection. Well, how did it end? Did the National Guard come and shoot them all? No, they were asked to leave a couple hours later, and they voluntarily just walked their fat butts back to the car. I mean, if we were going to send an insurrection in, wouldn't we at least give somebody a gun? Wouldn't somebody have brought a gun? Would we be sending in the 70-year-old Meemaw with the neck brace and the flag? Would we be sending in the people who look like they're in Meal Team 6 or Gravy Seals? Or I love the jokes about sending in the big people. All right. Do we have time for this? Yeah, we got time for some calls. Well, then, I guess to the phones we go. Let's do David in Bedford. You won the lottery there.
Yes, sir.
What's up,
Hello,
David?
how you doing?
Welcome to the James Show. What do you think?
Hello, how you doing, sir? Hey, I'll tell you, if it goes into bizarre world, if we cannot get this thing right according to the framers and how the Constitution is set up, and it just goes crazy, I'll tell you what, the Federalist Papers get to spell it out even more of what can be done. This country was run by the Federalist Papers at the time, and it spells it out even to where you actually would take up arms and reestablish the government. It's in there.
Yes, the Federalist Papers are a very, very boring read, though. The pen name Publius, I thought maybe he was one of the worst writers America had to offer, but it turns out it's Hamilton and John Jay and a few other guys writing under a pen name. So really, I think telling people to read the Federalist Papers is something a lot of people say just so you know that I read the Federalist Papers. I think what we need to do about it is make like a Schoolhouse Rocks, some distilled version that can easily be consumed in about 3 or 4 minutes on what the Federalist Papers covered, because we're not going to read that. And look, another one while you're at it, David, how about Common Sense? Thomas Paine's Common Sense. Have you ever read that? Because it's not long at all. It was
it's been a long time, yes, but what we need is common sense to prevail, and I believe the Supreme Court will rule on common sense.
All right, so this will be your homework going forward today, David, because there's a reason why in every American history class that you ever took, that you were told about common sense. You were told about how important it was in middle school, in high school, when you took U.S. history to 1877 for your 1301 in college for your American history. But you've never actually read any of it. You never even actually read an excerpt of it. Why? Because it is an inherently religious document. It references the Bible and Moses and Exodus and all that over and over, and it makes some beautiful parallels between the way the original Israeli government was set up, and I mean not Israeli like it's going on now. I mean like under the judges and Joshua and where they're getting rid of the Canaanites. Go read it. It's a religious document, and that's why they're not allowed to talk about it more and give you any in-depth in school. All right, sticking with the phones, let's go to Lee in Fort Worth. You're on the James Show on WBAP and now on 93.3 FM. What's up?
Well, as I was telling your call screener, I don't view what happened on January 6th as an insurrection. When I think of insurrection, I think of what John Brown did at Harper's Ferry or what Ned Turner was able to accomplish with the slave uprising. What happened in the aftermath of George Floyd was closer to an insurrection than anything that happened on January 6th.
Agree. And look, the frustrating part is half of the country sees it just the way you and I see it. But there are people we know that we know they're intelligent. We're probably related to some of them. We have a cousin, a former roommate, some college buddies that see the exact same footage that you and I saw on January 6th, and they're like, "Yep, total insurrection. He is ineligible to run." I guess that problem solved. Next problem. All right, if you got any comments on this, you can be next. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Campaign 2024, America at a Crossroads. Keep connected, DFWD, for the latest.
News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
It's the end of a busy day and you're wanting that smooth, sweet finish. This is Eric Bushman. When I wrap my busy news day, I need to chill. And I only chill with Famous Grouse Whiskey, a blend of exceptional grain whiskeys and the finest single malts aged in ex-sherry and bourbon casks. The perfectly balanced, easy to drink, and superior tasting whiskey, the best way to cap off your day. Famous Grouse Whiskey is great for cocktails and perfect for a long drink like a highball or Whiskey Collins. Famous Grouse Whiskey, available at all area liquor retailers. 40% alcohol by volume, imported by Edrington Americas, New York, New York.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hi, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors, heard every week right here on WBAP and across the United States. If you have a product or service that would benefit outdoorsmen and women, talk to us about advertising. 817-360-4539.
The Wilhite Law Firm handles accident cases differently. If you're injured, we'll drive to your home. We'll return every call and keep you updated. We win big for our clients. Texas-sized settlements big. Get your free case review at wilhitewins.com.
Prior results do not guarantee similar outcome.
Get a jump start on your New Year home improvement goals for 2024 with fantastic New Year's offers from my friends at New Spray. Hi, Hal J here. Winter temps are here, and the same cool wall technology that keeps the heat you don't want away from your home in the summer keeps that heat in your home in the winter. You will save money from the moment cool wall paint is added to your home, and you will be the envy of your neighbors when they see this remarkable paint applied. Before Cool Wall is applied, New Spray will make sure your home siding is the best it can be with their Hardy Plank siding installation. Siding, Cool Wall, and amazing patio covers and enclosures, you can literally transform your home. From the bottom of your home to the top, New Spray does it all. Ask for fantastic New Year's offers when you call today and tell them Hal J sent you. Call 877-NEW-SPRAY, 877-639-7772, or go to newspray.com.
The LaTappe, Texas cycling races are back in San Antonio, April 12th to the 14th. Cyclists of all ages, register now to ride in the 100, 60, or 25-mile Tour de France amateur cycling events. You can run, walk, cycle, and celebrate all things Fitness Fiesta at the Athletes Village and Expo, LaTappe, Texas. Register today at fiestafitfest.com. Presented in part by Thomas J. Henry.
Hi, Brad Barton for Red Mountain Weight Loss. You hear a lot about Ozempic helping people with type 2 diabetes control their glucose, and in the process, they manage to lose some weight. But it's a weekly shot in the doctor's office, and it can upset your stomach along with other side effects. Well, Red Mountain Weight Loss now has its own prescription semaglutide that comes in tablet form. No doctor visits, no side effects, just weight loss up to 15 pounds a month and at half the price of Ozempic. Find out more. Just go to redmountainweightloss.com. That's redmountainweightloss.com.
Expect traffic irregularities tonight through Dallas on 35E and Highway 67 because of the visit of President Joe Biden. He's arriving at Love Field around 6:15 tonight, and then he'll head south down to Concord Church for the wake of Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. We have a crash right now in Duncanville, 20 westbound at Duncanville Road. Left lane is blocked and traffic's stacking up around Cockrell Hill. 30 eastbound, there's a crash in the right lane at 635. That's causing a jam from Gus Thomason. You also have a crash 30 eastbound at Motley. That's also blocking the right lane. About a 3 to 5 minute delay there at most. And then there's a couple of crashes on northbound 35E. One's after Corporate Drive, right lane blocked here. And then at Hunley Drive, 2 right lanes blocked. That one's close to a 10-minute jam from Lake Dallas Drive. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
This report is sponsored by Affordable Dentures and Implants. Get your smile back. Affordable Dentures and Implants practices in the Dallas-Fort Worth area make new smiles affordable every day, so you don't need to wait another day to get your smile back. Visit one of their 16 Dallas-Fort Worth locations. Call 1-800-DENTURE for the practice near you. Affordable Dentures and Implants. Go ahead and smile.
From the Airco AC Heating and Plumbing Studio, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome. This is The James Show. I'm your host, James Parker, on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it one of your presets. I would prefer to be on the number one button, but, can't necessarily tell you what to do. If you want to be part of the show, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We've been asking if this Supreme Court case on whether or not Trump should be on the ballot, why do people come up with such wildly different answers? Richard and Perrin, you're next up on The James Show. What's up, Richard?
Yeah, one of my pet peeves is everybody keeps calling this wonderful country a democracy. Even Benjamin Franklin and back into the Federalist Papers, they came out and said, no, you don't have a democracy. You've got a constitutional republic if you can keep it.
Right.
And you had a PhD on that. He never mentioned the fact that we have a republic.
Well, I think
you've been calling it a democracy.
Okay.
It's just a pet peeve of mine. Call it what it is. It's supposed to be a constitutional republic.
Understandable. Definitely a constitutional republic, and the difference in meanings between those words is significant. However, when I am using their verbiage against them, I have to call it a democracy. When they're the ones saying this is a threat to our democracy, even if they're right and this is a democracy in principle, how does kicking someone off the ballot achieve that? Even in the words that they are using, as erroneous as they are, their arguments don't even match their erroneous.
I believe that kicking somebody off the ballot is an unconstitutional action.
Well, it could be constitutional if the reason they were doing it actually ran afoul of the Constitution. If someone was on the ballot that wasn't 35 years old, or if someone was on the ballot that wasn't a natural-born citizen, or if someone on the ballot had actually been part of...
We elected a president that was born, that was actually a citizen of an Arab country.
Well, if you're talking about Barack Obama, his mom is a citizen, so even if he was born overseas, he could get grandfathered in. But I mean, that's a whole different show that we probably did a few years ago. But I agree, Richard, you're right. We are not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic, and these things matter. You're totally right. But the reason why it's important to stick on that is because if we are a democracy, that means philosophically speaking, anything goes as long as 50% of the population plus one voter agrees on it. You want to bring back slavery? Cool. As long as 50% of people agree on it. You want to get rid of all gun rights? Cool. As long as 50%. You want to discriminate against minorities or women? Cool. As long as we can get 50% of the country to agree on it. So that's why they hinge on it. If we are just a flat out democracy, then the power of the state is only hindered by what they can convince the people to believe, not necessarily these natural inalienable rights. So yes, valid point, but when we say democracy, we don't mean we're a democracy, not a constitutional republic. We do have democratic institutions and processes, and that's kind of what we're trying to protect. But nuance is welcome on this show. Thank you very much. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. This is The James Show on News Talk 820, WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
My son was saying, Mom, why are you paying so much for this? The supplement store has the exact same thing. And I said, no, they don't. Because he was telling me that they have similar products as Balance of Nature. But then when he came over to my house and he looked at the label of the Balance of Nature about all the, ingredients and everything, he realized, oh yeah, this is a superior product.
Step into the new year with a new you. Start your journey to better health by calling 1-800-246-8751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and signing up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code Dallas.
At Kroger, shopping with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in-store. Same low prices, deals, and rewards on the same high-quality items. It's one small click for groceries, one big win for busy families everywhere. Start your cart today at Kroger.com. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Save big on 6-packs of Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, or Pepsi. Select varieties are just $2.99 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You're ready to upgrade to your dream home this year. Brand new construction. But that dream could become a nightmare with construction delays and changing move-in dates. With Orchard's Move First, Sell Later, you can stay in your old home until your brand new home is move-in ready. Orchard handles every detail of selling your old home, including listing prep, showings, and even price-boosting upgrades. Orchard is the hassle-free way to buy a new construction home before selling your old home. Visit Orchard.com for your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy.
Donate your car today at junkforjoy.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy.
Donate today at junkforjoy.org and your car can be picked up by tomorrow.
Slamming on your car brakes while traveling 60 miles an hour can take an average car about 8 seconds before coming to a full stop. If you think that's bad, an 18-wheeler can travel up to 26 seconds before coming to a stop. almost as long as this radio commercial. If you or a loved one has been in an 18-wheeler accident, call Thomas J. Henry. We handle serious 18-wheeler accidents and get serious results. Call Thomas J. Henry today. Available 24/7, nights and weekends. Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio, Texas.
Well, the cold weather may have you wanting to make sure your home is electrically safe and sound. Al J. here, and my good friend, the owner of Mr. Electric himself, Robert Lummis. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing well, Hal. Thank you. Remember, we only do electric, and we'll do it right the first time, and always at a fair price, and we always try to be on time, and there's never any unpleasant surprises.
Servicing all of DFW, call 817-585-2997. My electric company is Mr. Electric.
Hey, you're up next.
My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP, Fort Worth, Dallas. 93.3 KLIF-FM, Haltom City, Dallas, Fort Worth. And KPLX-FM HD2, Fort Worth, Dallas.
And now on FM at 93.3. Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus media station. Trending now.
The president expected in Dallas in just a few hours. I'm Eric Bushman from the newsspray.com WBAP 24/7 News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
And when the president does arrive, expect some traffic irregularities through Dallas. He'll be landing at Love Field around 6:15 and then heading down to Concord Church in South Dallas. The quickest route for him would be around 35E down to Highway 67. So plan ahead and give yourself some extra time if you'll be heading through that area. We have a crash right now in Mesquite on 30 eastbound at 6:35. It's blocking the right lane, causing a jam back from Gus Thomason. Also on 30 eastbound at Motley Drive, you have a crash in the right lane. That's a fairly minor delay through the immediate area. Northbound 35E after Corporate Drive, another crash in the right lane, adding about 2 or 3 minutes of extra stop and go. And we just had a disabled vehicle pop up in Plano, blocking the left lane of 75 northbound at the Bush Turnpike. With WBAP, first traffic and weather on the ones. I'm Colin Ellis.
Why do so many Texans love Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? Who else has 63 acres with massive savings? New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, got them. Why go anywhere else? Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
Well, the heavier rain is gone now, and the thunder and lightning's gone, but still that wind, that's going to be around for a while. A wind advisory till 6 p.m. on Tuesday. The rest of the day, gusty breezes, a little sunshine trying to break through. Temperatures in the low 60s. Still can't rule out a shower. Wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Clear and very windy tonight. Lows in the mid-30s. Wind gusts out of the southwest and west up to 40 miles an hour. And sunny and windy Tuesday. Highs up around 50 degrees. This weather report sponsored by Pfizer. As the world keeps changing, so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're designed to help protect against recent variants. Learn more about a COVID-19 vaccine option at schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer. For WBAP News, I'm meteorologist Mark Thibodeau at the Weather Channel.
56 degrees in Dallas, 55 in Fort Worth. This news brought to you by McGowan Publishing. President Joe Biden is expected to be in Dallas around 6 o'clock tonight for the memorial of longtime Dallas area Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson at Concord Church.
That's where President Biden, longtime acquaintance and self-described friend to EBJ, is expected to pay his respects. Biden's expected expected to land at Dallas Love Field just after 6 p.m. The prayer service in wake for Johnson at Concord Church begins 6:30 and runs through 8. Johnson's funeral service will be held there as well Tuesday morning. She's expected to be buried Wednesday at the Texas State Cemetery in Austin. Kimberly James, WBAP News.
As a family of the Congresswoman Johnson is reported to be engaging in a settlement with Baylor Scott and White Hospital System, State Senator Royce West was on Inside Texas Politics on WFAA TV, calling on the hospital system to show improvement in patient care.
Baylor Scott and White needs to do the right thing and make certain that this matter is resolved to the satisfaction of the family.
The family of Johnson alleges she was left without care for some time in filthy conditions that led to an infection reported to have caused her death. Your Money News: a December jobs report has been released from the Bureau of Labor Statistics despite a positive inflation outlook by the Federal Reserve. Fox Business's Edward Lawrence says many workers need second jobs.
A record 8.7 million people needing a second job as of December 2023 to afford things. That might indicate the weakness the Federal Reserve is looking at. Now, I asked the acting labor secretary about that.
That is not the kind of breathing room that the president wants to see, and that's, fundamentally not what Bidenomics is about.
Political experts say that jobs will be an impact in the next election. So more people working second jobs to make things meet, fewer jobs than we first thought when the numbers originally come out in the jobs report in 2023.
Overall job growth slowed in 2023, but layoffs also remained at a record low. The Dow is up 217 points, NASDAQ up 320, the S&P 500 up by 66. Again, the high today around 63. It is 56 in Dallas, 55 in Fort Worth. I'm Eric Bushman. Your next news update is at 3:30. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. WBAP salutes Ferris. Ferris, thank you for listening today to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
This hour on WBAP is brought to you by the Will Height Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Go to willheightwins.com.
Hey there, welcome back. This is The James Show. I'm your host, James Parker, on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Yes, I'm pretty excited about that too, studio audience. And yes, that is an amazing coincidence. We had a commenter over here on social media point out the very lucky coincidence, and how fortunate am I that this is The James Show and my name happens to be James. So that works out perfectly. We didn't have to rename the show just because I'm the host here. Thank you, Barney. This is a great comment. We have Bob Lavelle in studio. He is the president of Home Marketing Services. And when he founded this company years ago, we jumped on board. When I say we, there are previous radio iterations that I've been a part of where Bob Lavelle was involved. And I have 2 decades worth of people doing business with this guy, and 0 of them have come back to me and said, man, that Bob Lavelle's full of it. What a terrible dude. Not one negative feedback. So, Bob Lavelle, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to work with you again.
All right. I wanted to bring you on because this is a real estate, moving, home buying sort of topic here. And I like being on the top of lists. Being a Texan, we get to be on the top of a lot of cool lists. And one of them is, according to U-Haul, more movers moved to Texas in 2023 than any other state. As a guy who has sold more houses than most of us have ever even seen, why do you think that is, Bob?
It's interesting. There are, in my opinion, a number of reasons. One, you do have more affordable housing in Texas, especially than places like California, New York, Chicago. And that's a big mover. For some of them, I think it's even more political freedom. And we've done a lot of homes for people from California, from New York, and one of the things they tell us is they really got tired of where their tax dollars were going and what it was supporting in some of those states, and so they love being Texans.
Yeah, transplants get a lot of smoke around here, but I've noticed, anecdotally speaking, the transplants I've talked to, if you have been so disgusted by the political situation in your previous home that you have uprooted your entire family at great expense and moved all the way to Texas, you're probably a little more partial to Texas politics than the place you left.
Well, we kid them a bit. When they're from California, we have a few questions we ask them. Did you pack your politics with you, or did you come with better ideas? And, they're good people that actually they came here because they wanted a little bit better way of life. They wanted a little bit better pricing on their homes. But, I find that they're not moving into the big cities as much as they're looking for more of a small town atmosphere. I mean, whether they're going to Prosper or Little Elm or Salina, more so than downtown Dallas,
So how long is this going to last? We can't be number one in imports forever, but I don't see anyone else even vying for the title except for Florida.
Florida actually is a real contender. So is Arizona. There are more people right now moving to Florida and Arizona that are going from California to those places, which we're okay with, because when Californians first started coming here, they really drove prices up a bit. And I'll be honest, in my opinion, a lot of builders are greedy. And I tell my builders that, my preferred builders, you guys got carried away in the pricing, because California people would sell their 900 square foot little 1-bedroom place for $700,000, come here and see a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom with a game room for the same amount. And remember when things were really tight during COVID, no properties available and so on. A property that was going for $350,000, they're offering $500,000 and outbidding everybody. So I'm kind of glad that's over with.
Well, when you look at how it's kind of gotten tough for people who only make intra-city moves, because moving from Plano to Dallas or to Richardson or something, that's not nearly the same as moving in from out of state. So I got to think, as bad as things have gotten here with the price going up and the inventory being really contracted and, rates are higher for a lot of people, I guess it's worse in other places.
Well, things offset each other. I mean, like, take California, okay? They actually have lower property taxes, but our good governor, Abbott did something for us there and reduced some property taxes. But the offset is no state income taxes is huge, and better pricing on homes, more value. So you get to build family equity. So those trade-offs, I think, are huge. And I love when we get people from out of state and from the military, because our military program, I'm a vet, and I did my 2 years, 7 days, 6 hours, 20 minutes. Loved it. It was great back in 68, 71. So, we take care of our vets, and a lot of those folks will move in for virtually nothing. I mean, we charge them, I do a deal where on our vets, I can charge them $5 to move in. After they get the new keys, move in, they come by and bring me a caramel macchiato, sugar-free. That's their move-in. And we do that for our vets. We take care of our police officers, our nurses, and our teachers.
So that seems like a deal that doesn't sound possible. Someone calls in, they're like, how can someone move in for $5, Bob? That's not a real thing. What do you say to those people?
It's funny. On your show last week, we had several call-ins that were really fun to do. One of them we know was a realtor, and all she wanted to do was complain that, well, I just know that that's not true. There's no way you can get the interest rates in the 4s. And my guy that took the call said, well, yes, ma'am, actually, we do. We do every day. And, she said, well, that's just impossible. I don't believe you. Well, come on in and we'll show you. And, she was obviously a realtor and not very happy, because she just wanted us to tell her over the phone how we do that. And no.
Because you're going to steal all her business, Bob. We're talking with Bob Lavelle from Home Marketing Services. We'll talk about getting rates in the 4s coming up after the break here. But if you have any questions, real estate related, U-Haul related, 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. I'm James Parker. That's Bob Lavelle. We'll be right back with more of The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Coming up Tuesday on WBAP's Morning News at 5:07, who won the NCAA Football National Championship game? At 6:17, President Biden makes his first trip to Dallas since becoming president to attend the wake of Eddie Bernice Johnson. Did everything go off without a hitch?
Nicole Osei has your news at the top and bottom of the hour. Monty Cook has your traffic on the ones, and Steve Lamb with sports Tuesday on WBAP's Morning News.
Happy New Year from Clarity Windows and Doors. Hi, I'm Brad Barton. Let's ring in 2024 with cash and energy savings. Now, for years, you've heard me on WBAP talking about Clarity Windows and Doors. They've been serving North Texas for over 20 years. Now, this month, receive 20% off every window and every door in your home. I know it's easy to keep putting off replacing your home's worn-out windows and doors, but postponing replacement is wasting energy and costing you a lot more in the long run. We've loved our new windows for years, but our full view storm door and 2 fiberglass doors are just outstanding. They still look brand new years after we put them in. And everything Clarity sells comes with a lifetime parts and labor warranty, best on the market. So give Clarity Windows a call, and don't worry about any high-pressure buy-now tactics. They'll educate you on the different options you have and get you a free in-home consultation. So click them online at ClarityWindows.com or call 1-888-458-3630. And Happy New Year.
Bring clarity to your home. Clarity Windows and Doors.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, our Snap Secure dental implants will let you eat and speak with confidence at a price that's affordable. So if you think you can't afford dental implants, think again. Our 16 practices in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are open to serve you. Schedule a free new smile consultation by calling 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com to find the practice near you. That's 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com. Schedule your new smile consultation today. Affordable Dentures and Implants. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile.
Shane again with Mullen & Mullen Injury Law Firm. My family's been fighting for injured North Texans over 4 decades. If you're injured in an accident, call for some free advice. 214-INJURED. Being local matters. We win. No recovery, no expense or fees. Been that way since '83. MullenandMullen.com.
Guys, Synergenics can help you conquer your New Year's resolution. Do you have lack of energy, motivation, possibly low libido? These could be caused by low T levels. At Synergenics, they exclusively specialize in testosterone treatment and make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. And at Synergenics, you'll get your results back at your first visit. To book your appointment, go to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com. Located in Prosper, McKinney, and Walnut Hill near North Park Mall.
Have you tried everything you can think of to find relief from foot pain? The Good Feet store has helped countless people who didn't find any relief from expensive shoes, cushions, or even shots. You can find the nearest Good Feet store to you at goodfeet.com.
Y'all ready for some good times and wild rides? Then get ready to discover where the West is fun at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, happening from January 12th through February 3rd at the Will Rogers Memorial Center. Feel the thrill of the Carnival Midway, savor mouth-watering food, and witness heart-pounding rodeo action in the incredible Dickies Arena. Shop till you drop across acres of vendors, pet a farm animal, and take in an amazing adventure for the whole family. And the excitement continues with hot live music in the Bud Light Roadhouse. The Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, where the West is fun. Visit FWSSR.com for more information. Presented by Texas Health, Reliant, Simmons Bank, Dickies, Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, and North Texas Chevy Dealers. The Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. This thing is legendary.
We're going to have some traffic irregularities this evening through Dallas on 35E and Highway 67 because of the arrival of President Joe Biden. He'll be landing at Love Field around 6:15 and then heading on down to Concord Church in South Dallas for the wake of Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. Right now, we just had a crash clear up in Mesquite, 30 eastbound at 6:35. Still expect some unwinding delay from Motley Drive. Eastbound I-30 at Motley, we have a crash that's been moved over to the right shoulder. That's just adding a little bit to that congestion back up through the area. There's a disabled vehicle in Plano, 75 northbound at the Bush Turnpike. It's blocking the left lane. And in Fort Worth, we have a new crash in the right lane of northbound 35W at Spur 280 Highway 287. That's adding about 5 to 10 minutes of extra stop and go from Lancaster. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. This report is sponsored by JSX Air.
Fly with JSX Air from a crowd-free private terminal and experience the thrill of members-only service without the membership fees. Hop on a spacious 30-seat jet and enjoy free high-speed Starlink Wi-Fi, in-flight cocktails, and so much more. Depart from the ordinary now at jsx.com.
News Talk 820 WBAP is now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset and tell a friend.
Hey there, welcome back. This is The James Show. I'm your host, James Parker, on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Joining me is Bob Lavelle from Home Marketing Services, and we were talking about why is Texas the #1 state for movers in America, and it's not because we have better rates. I mean, the rates that you get here in Texas are pretty much the rates you're going to get anywhere else. I think what a lot of people are doing, though, is asking the question, when are the rates going to go down? Bob, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but you've been floating around in this space for a few decades. Do you have any idea on, like, maybe this could happen within the next year or so?
You know, it's really interesting because a month ago, my answer would have been totally different, totally the opposite. Everybody in the industry, and I'm not in the mortgage business, I'm in the real estate business, but everybody in the industry that I talked to felt the same way. They're talking about doing 2 more price increases in the first quarter of this year, but all of a sudden it changed. They had 3 price drops, and it went from 8 to the 6s. And now they're even hinting about maybe a couple more drops. So perhaps because it's an election year, and we know politicians love to get reelected, bless their heart. But either way, right now, if you ask the people in the industry, we think the rates are going to go down again. But where they're in the 6s right now, maybe it'll go down to the 5s. I don't think we'll ever see the 3s again. That was a total anomaly.
Well, can I brag on what my mortgage rate is? Because this is what an old man I am. 20-year-old James would have never bragged about his interest rate. But let me tell you what. Roll up your window, so I don't want everyone to hear this outside your car. 2.95% is what my mortgage is, Bob. And that is like worth about $300, $400 a month just off my monthly payment. I don't think we'll ever get back to that. But super cynical, skeptical, old crotchety man, because I'm turning into an angry old man in front of your face just very slowly. I think it's all about the election. Of course they're going to cut interest rates. I've been saying this for over a year, that they want everyone going into the ballot box on an economic sugar high. And whether it's real economic growth or just goosing the numbers because you slammed the rates right before the election, of course they're going to lower it. But that's cynical, skeptical James talking.
Well, that's also realistic James talking. I mean, traditionally in an election year, rates are going to go down. And this year, I would have thought, again, normally that's the case. But after I've seen what I've seen in our political environment, people were saying, no, they're not. They're actually going to go up. It changed a month ago. I'm guessing, again, the election this year probably helped change that, which is great, because if the rates right now in the 6s, you know, in the last, let's say, 30 years, the average rate was 7%. And if you want to go back, let's go to 1789. How's that?
Okay.
1789, our president was George Washington. George Washington took the very first loan to pay the Continental Congress and himself from what was then called the Bank of New York. That loan that he took, by the way, was $200,000. The rate was 6%. And that was in 1789. So when we got down to that 3 and 2 3/4, and by the way, my rate's about the same because you do your homework and I live it every day. So yeah, you want to do it when you can.
So what about the people who heard you say 4% interest rates in the last segment and they rolled their eyes saying that's not possible?
Well, I have to qualify that and say that was a realtor that said that, and maybe they didn't have that program. We do, and it's because my preferred lenders and my preferred builders, we got together and I said, guys, you've been greedy. Here's what we're going to do. And Mr. Builder, you're going to contribute this much, and Mr. Lender, you're going to contribute this much, and I need to buy down the rates so my real people, my cops, my teachers, my nurses, can get a real home. And so we get it in the fours, and that's real.
So were you telling me you already got a referral from the James Show last week?
We actually had a couple of them, but the one that was my favorite was the lady called up. We asked her straight out, how we always ask, how'd you hear about us? And she said she was a referral. So naturally, who were you referred by? We were thinking another previous client. And she said, my dad. Well, where'd your dad hear about us? Well, he listens to WBAP all day long, every day. And he heard your commercial, and he called me up and said, you need to call them right now. She did. She's coming in this week to do her pre-qualification.
Thank you, Dad. And thank you all the dads out there, because for the entirety of my radio career, over 20 years now, it's been in talk radio. And so I've met people that are my peers or my age group, especially when I was younger. You know, you'd meet a young lady at the bar or whatever. Oh, you're on the radio? What station? Oh, I don't know that. What's the show? Oh, I don't know that. And I would tell them, don't worry, your dad probably loves me.
Well, you know, I can't say this for sure, James, but now whether she's living at home and dad wants to get rid of her, I don't know. Or whether she's in her own apartment, I'll find out when she comes in. But for those folks out there that have 30-year-olds still living with them, give them our number.
Let's get him out of there. Bob will eject the kid from the basement. Metaphorical basement. We don't have basements around here. But one thing, I have this couple, probably two of my best friends. They're married. They've been renting, and they're in their late 30s. And I've been trying to tell them, you need to buy a house so you can build equity, so you can build wealth, so you have equity to tap into. So if you do have to move, you can take thousands of dollars with you. And they're like, no, well, the rates are kind of high. You don't marry the rate. You get a house. You're going to stay in that for as long as you want. But that rate, you're going to swap that sucker out the first chance they go down.
Well, even if someone decided to come in today and they want to get a brand new home in the fours, right? If the rates go down, God forbid, you know, I would love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. If it does go down, you refinance, and it's not a big problem. And if it's done in a fairly short amount of time, you're not going to have to pay all those extra fees to do it. So you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. You need to find out where you stand.
All right, we're going to revisit this conversation a few times this year, because I am staying hard and fast on my prediction that they are going to cut those rates for the economic sugar high effect. This is all election related. This is all skeptical, cynical James. And if you got any comments for Bob or real estate related, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. That's Bob Lavelle. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. All right, this is the part where we do our little commercial part here, Bob. Let's tell them about what you do for a living and why you know so much about all these real estate topics. Home marketing services, what do y'all do?
Well, we can say that we get people out of the rent race. We help people stop making the landlord richer. We do that every day, and we've been doing it now for right about 30 years. But we also help people that have a home that they want to sell, but they're moving sucks. I mean, it really does. So they want to sell their home, but they want to move only once. So when we get their new home set up, we arrange the closing of their home they're selling to coincide and maybe buy them 2 or 3 weeks to relax before they have to move out. But move once. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and you are under the belief that we just talked about, marry the house, date the rate.
That almost sounded bad, but yes, I agree with you 100%, James.
Yeah, so for you people who are spooked about high percentage rates or high mortgage rates, so much of my payment's going to be going to interest, and I'm not going to get any of it back. If you're renting, you get none of that payment back. Your return is zero. So it's time to get out of the rent race. It's time to call Bob, Home Marketing Services, blessyourheart.com. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
You know, I love it when the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo comes to town because I get to talk about Mueller Steel Buildings and Metal Roofing. Hal J here for Mueller, and they are at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. This is the place to be if you want to see their products firsthand and speak with people that know steel buildings and metal roofing. From their easy-to-assemble backyard storage and greenhouse kits to multifunctional facilities that are engineered to handle it all. Mueller Building Solutions are Texas stuff. While you're there, check out the Value Plus line of Homestead Living Series. And don't forget, the residential metal roofing offers a variety of panel styles and color options to choose from to outlast some of our worst Texas weather. Comforting to know they've been manufacturing steel products in Texas for close to 100 years and will be there for you in the future. You can always visit their website at MuellerInc.com, or if you want to talk to a Mueller rep face-to-face, go see them at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo and ask about their show specials.
Believe it or not, most small businesses don't have a 401k. If you don't have a 401k, you are missing out on the greatest wealth creation tool ever created. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and many 401ks are overpriced for the employer, have expensive and underperforming investment options, and have tedious administrative provisions. Not at Trajan Wealth. We can set up a 401k for a company for only $9 per employee, a $29 per plan fee, plus a small advisory fee, not thousands or even the tens of thousands you've been quoted, and do it all in less time than it takes to sit in traffic. 401ks will help you attract and retain top talent, and we can do it all for a couple $100. If you're an employee and don't have a 401k, tell your boss, call Trajan Wealth today. Call 469-579-3500. 469-579-3500.
Services offered through a third-party partner.
Hello, I'm Dallas tax attorney Jamie Flores, the managing partner at the law offices of Nick Namath, with another important tax fact. The amount the IRS claims you owe is often incorrect. They're notorious for charging for taxes, penalties, and interest that you don't really owe.
That's right, Jamie. Hi, I'm Dallas tax attorney Nick Namath. If you have unfiled returns, the IRS might be preparing them for you. These substitute returns are often full of errors, so if the IRS hands you a devastating tax bill, don't panic, and please don't try to respond on your own. For over 20 years, I've helped individuals and businesses successfully handle the IRS, and I'm ready to help you. Give me a call and we'll set up a free and confidential evaluation, and I'll explain all the options available.
If you've received a notice from the IRS, or if you're facing IRS wage levies, garnishments, or seizures, call Nick Namath, the DFW tax attorney, at 972-484-0829 or visit myiRSteam.com.
If you thought booking your timeshare was difficult before, you know it's almost impossible now. For more than a decade, Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of owners legally and permanently get out of their never-ending timeshare fees. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. For free, no obligation consultation, please call 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
And now on FM at 93.3. Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus media station. Trending now.
The president expected in Dallas tonight. I'm Eric Bushman from the newsspray.com WBAP 24/7 news desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
That presidential visit likely to have an effect on our traffic through Dallas. He'll be landing at Love Field around 6:15 and then heading on down to Concord Church in South Dallas. The quickest route would be 35E and Highway 67. So if you're going to be heading through those areas, you may want to plan an alternate route. We still have a disabled vehicle in Plano in the left lane of 75 northbound at the Bush Turnpike. Just a minor delay through the immediate area. 30 eastbound at Motley Drive, there's a crash that's been moved over to the right shoulder. And in Fort Worth, we have a new crash on 30 westbound at Montgomery Street. 2 right lanes gone here and already have about a 10-minute delay built up from Summit 8th. with WBAP. First traffic and weather on the ones. I'm Colin Ellis.
Why do so many Texans love classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? Who else has 63 acres with massive savings? New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, got them. Why go anywhere else? Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
The WBAP forecast, wind advisory through 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Showers and thunderstorms moving out this afternoon. A high 63 degrees. It is 56 in Dallas, 55 in Fort Worth. This news brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. President Joe Biden spoke today at the Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, the site of where 9 black churchgoers were shot dead in 2015. During his remarks, the president reacted to an Iowa school shooting last week.
We have to ban assault weapons. I did it once before, and I'm going to come back again and do it. Ban high-capacity magazines. We have to pass the universal background checks. It doesn't violate the Second Amendment. It's common sense, and it saves lives.
The president leaves South Carolina to head to Dallas tonight to visit the memorial for the late Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. Your Money News, a new Arlington hotel is holding a job fair through Wednesday to fill about 500 positions ahead of next month's opening.
The Lowe's Arlington Hotel and Convention Center is scheduled to open February 13th. It's looking to fill jobs, including those in banquet services, housekeeping, front desk agents, in guest services, and a few bartenders, among other positions. The hotel's job fair runs through 7 p.m. today through Wednesday night in the lobby at the hotel on Randall Mill Road. Lowe's Hotel recommending applying online for the job you seek before you head to the job fair. Kimberly James, WBAP News.
The Dow closed up 217 points, NASDAQ up 320, the S&P 500 up by 66. Again, the high today 63. It is 56 in Dallas, 55 in Fort Worth. I'm Eric Bushman. Your next news update is at 4 o'clock. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected. DFW to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
A few weeks ago, after losing back-to-back games on the road at Buffalo and Miami, it seemed almost certain that the Cowboys would be playing on the road once the playoffs started. But not now. From our Mullen & Mullen Law Firm Sports Desk, I'm Steve Lamb. The Cowboys beat Detroit, and then the Cardinals beat the Eagles last weekend. That opened the door for Dallas to win the division, to win the NFC East, and get a game at home. So it's official. Cowboys, the Packers, next Sunday.
Definitely going to be electric. If it's anything like a last home game, it should be a good one. I'm very excited. Looking forward to Cowboys Nation, seeing y'all again. Let's do it.
It will be exciting. It'll be loud. Fans got to control our emotions same way as we will, and it'll be a hell of an atmosphere.
Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and like they said, being at home should be an advantage.
You don't got to do the traveling. You got all your treatment, and obviously you get to play in front of the best fans in the world. Cowboys Nation, so that always turns a page. It's always super loud in there. They got to go on certain counts and things like that, so you get better get-offs, better gist of the game.
Cowboys anchor on defense, Micah Parsons. And we're a couple hours away from tonight's national championship game between Washington and Michigan down at NRG Stadium in Houston. It's carried right here on WBAP, underway at 5:30. That's your check on sports. I'm Steve Lamb.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market.
Start your wellness journey at Whole Foods Market. Get 33% off all supplements with Prime through January 9th. Fuel your body with a well-rounded supplement routine for less. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance is making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
On air, on the app, on the go. Check in 2, 3, 4 times a day and keep connected. DFW News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, how you doing? This is The James Show. I'm your host, James Parker, on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on your FM dial at 93.3. Make us one of your presets. And I'm going to be a little greedy here. I want to be the number one button. Can I be the number one button? I don't want to be your side station. I want to be your main station. So don't put me over on the 2s or the 3s. I want to be the number one. I want to be your main chick, not your side chick. Y'all still with me here? We still talking about radio? So you just heard in the news update there that Dak Prescott and Dallas Cowboys whipped Washington, the Redskins. I'm still going to call them the Redskins because I'm a child. They whipped the Redskins last night, 38-10, which means that they are now the champions of the NFC East. They're the number 2 seed. And while we don't get a first-round bye, we do get the luxury of a home field advantage for the next 2 rounds of the playoffs, at least. And we could have a home game for the NFC Championship game if we make it that far and we're not playing San Francisco. If we're playing any of the other teams, we have a real shot there at making it to the Super Bowl. And this is about the best path that you could ask for, aside from the first-round bye, of course. But come on now. You would have been excited. We would have been high-fiving, you and I, right across the table, if we'd have been told in August before this whole thing kicked off that the Dallas Cowboys were going to finish the regular season with the 2 seed. Now, we've been excited before. I believe if you go back to Dak Prescott's first season, that amazing run where him and Zeke just came in and took over, and we were the number 1 seed, but that didn't work out so well. Now, did it? And I'm super excited about that because on top of the Cowboys winning, isn't there just something delicious? Isn't there just something just tasty? It's like the icing on your birthday cake. When you're looking up in the top left-hand corner of the screen during the Cowboys game and you see that the Giants are just kicking a snot bubble out of the Eagles. Why does that make me so happy? Does that make me a bad person? And I didn't get to watch the game because it was on the same time as the Cowboys, but you kept watching the score go up. Oh, look, the Giants are up 10-0. Oh, look, the Giants are up 17-0. Oh, my God, the Giants are up 24-0. And we're cheering just as hard for the Giants as we are for the Cowboys because the Cowboys are starting to lock it up at that time. Here's what I missed and what you might have missed, too. I went back and looked at what the heck happened in that game. How did the Eagles start something like 10-1, and they've just laid an egg in like 5 of their last 6 games? I mean, they are like dairy hens over here laying eggs. I saw a still photo that it caused me pain to see it. You know how photos can't really hurt you, but when you look at them and the common humanity, apparently Jalen Hurts hurt his middle finger, the one that you use to signal that you're not very happy with someone's driving, the middle digit. It was bent in a way that human fingers are not supposed to be bent. It was bent in a way that looked like Stretch Armstrong was bent around, or one of these little putty guys these figurines that you can mold into weird shapes. His finger was just sticking out backwards. Now, I've had my finger bent backwards like that before, so I know exactly what it feels like. And it's almost like that feeling came right back. Like, ooh, I've had my finger bend backwards and to the side in a way where it's not anatomically allowed to do without severe pain. So maybe that's why I saw that picture and felt pain. But I don't think I was the only one. So that's delicious. I also saw that one of their big bad receivers, Mr. Brown, may have boo-booed his knee a little bit. And so I haven't really dug too much in it. This isn't the ticket that's down the hall. Those guys down there, they kind of rule and don't want to step into their territory. But how bad is it? This sounds horrible. I really think how good is it? How great do we have it that not only are we in the playoffs as a 2 seed and we supplanted the Eagles as the winners in the NFC East, but also they're going to go in with a boo-booed up quarterback and a boo-booed up number 1 receiver, and that it shouldn't make it better, but it does, and that's because I'm a child, and I apologize. But yeah, I'm super happy about the Cowboys. For those of you who aren't really that interested in sports, just know that all the stupid football fans around you like myself are going to be in a very good mood for at least the next week, and there's a really good chance that we're going to win next week against silly old Green Bay Packers and be in an even better mood. So that'll explain that, non-sports ball people. Another small little piece of news that I got to sneak in under the radar because you're not going to hear it in most other news outlets is in the Tahoe Daily Tribune. I saw that they're having to close their ski lifts due to heavy snow. You know what? You've noticed 1,000 times. I've noticed 1,000 times, but it still is a sticker in my shoe to hear Every time that there's a heat wave or there's hot weather or someone dies from a heat stroke, super important news that we all have to hear about all day constantly. And this is just proof positive that climate change is going to kill us all. And you've got to give up your big cars and you've got to start taking a bicycle to school and you've got to start eating bugs and you can't eat as much red meat and you can't use whatever light bulb you want to use. And you got to get an electric car, even though it has all its problems and expenses. And then they just gloss over these. Oh, that's so interesting. So let me get this straight. Only really hot weather is news, but really cold weather, not news. Yes, that's the rule they go by. It's just not as interesting to them. But how much snow does there have to be for ski resorts to close due to heavy snow? Like the whole enterprise is built around heavy snow. And it's not even really that deep into the ski season. It's just barely January. Just throwing that out there. Just convenient how that doesn't get nearly as much attention in the media as the hot stuff. You're not surprised, but listen, if you want to know from the journalistic integrity standpoint, there's one statistic I want to leave you with. Globally, every year, you know how many deaths are caused by heat exhaustion. You know, global warming is something we're supposed to be concerned about. About 300,000. Not piddly. That's a lot. But compared to cold, how many people you think globally die of cold, exposure to cold? It's 300,000 for heat. For cold, 1.7 million. So it's more than 5 times as many, almost 6 times as many. But which one am I supposed to be concerned about? Yeah, right. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show. Coming up next, we're going to talk to a doctor about the widespread flu terrorizing Tarrant County right now. That's next on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
These stories are making news in the week ahead.
Yes, I think that he engaged in insurrection.
Right now, what's happening at the border, what's happening with inflation.
The state of Texas continues to assist, doing what it can through Operation Lone Star to mitigate the problem.
Whatever happens next will happen here first.
News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hi, this is John Stuart Hill, founder of the Good Contractors List. Many people ask us how it works if they have an issue with a contractor. It's really very simple. You immediately contact us through the website by going to the contractor's page and filling out the rating form. Our team gets involved and we begin mediating right away. We begin communication between you and the contractor and stay involved till every issue is resolved. If it gets to the point that it's apparent that the contractor cannot fulfill their obligations, we will physically come to your house with other pros that can inspect the work. I'll say this, there have been times the contractor was unable to do as they promised and we removed them and took financial responsibility. However, there have been times that homeowners were trying to take advantage of the good contractor and it was obvious. We stand as the voice of truth between you and the contractor and do the right thing. We rarely have to take anything to that level because we've learned how to pick good contractors. Go to thegoodcontractorslist.com for all your home service needs. That's thegoodcontractorslist.com.
Only at the Good Contractors List.
Start your year off stress-free and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, I'm Taylor, and I sold my home with Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate to Junk for Joy. Donate your car today to Junk for Joy.
Donate your car today at junkforjoy.org. You'll get a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
Donate your car today to Junk for Joy.
Donate today and your car will be picked up by tomorrow.
This is Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. I've competed in more than 25 triathlons, but what really gets my heart pumping is helping fellow Texans injured in accidents. I'll go the distance for you. Get your free case review at wilhitewins.com.
Prior results do not guarantee similar outcome.
Expect some traffic irregularities this evening in Dallas on 35E and Highway 67 due to the arrival of President Biden for the wake of Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. He'll be landing at Love Field around 6:15 and then heading down to Concord Church in South Dallas. In Sunnyvale, we have a new crash on eastbound Highway 80 just before East Fork Road. It's already been moved over to the right shoulder, but you still have about a 3 to 5 minute slowdown built up from Highway 352 Collins. And we still have a crash in Fort Worth on 30 westbound at Montgomery Street. 2 right lanes blocked here and about a 10 to 12 minute delay built up from Summit 8th. With WBAP First Traffic, I'm Colin Ellis.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
From the Airco AC Heating and Plumbing Studio, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. I am your host, James Parker, on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it one of your presets. Last year, Tarrant County had one of the worst influenza years in memory, where about 25% of their ER visits were from flu-like symptoms. This year, not as bad, but still of concern, because already that number's up to 17% of ER visits in Tarrant County are being related to the flu. And so we're going to bring in someone who knows a little bit more about this than I do. It's a doctor, Shahan Chowdhury, from the CEO of Tailored Health in Frisco. Let's talk about the influenza epidemic. The headlines are making it seem like this is worse than usual or terrible. Is this an above average activity for flu season?
Thank you for having me. No, but it sure gets your attention, doesn't it? No, this is winter, and so this is the time that we see a lot of flu and other kind of viruses. And I think many of you know now we're dealing with 3 major viruses out there: the flu, the COVID, and RSV. But no, honestly, this is just it's that time of year, and you know we like to share germs when it's holiday season and stuff like that. When school is out, everybody's gathering, and it's cold outside. So we kind of have that transmission like we do every winter, and so it really is just another winter, but. You know, it's no fun to have these infections with fever and whole body aches and just not being able to do your usual stuff. Yeah, it's no fun.
Well, is it dangerous for the extremes? Is it dangerous for really young kids and really old people? Because that's what I hear. But then when I go and look up the statistics, there's only a handful of children who die from it every year. I believe only 1 has died in Texas thus far. Where's all this worry coming from?
Well, that's one too many children to die from something that we should be able to minimize. But yes, you're right. The extremes of ages, very, very young, very, very old and frail, but also don't forget all those people that are under certain medications or just can't fight the viruses very well because their immune system is down for whatever reason. But no, the other thing is there's a lot of kids that get hospitalized. They may not die, but they get hospitalized, and that's no fun for the kids, the parents, the families. and it just makes for a busy season. But yeah, it's not as bad as other seasons, but we're still very early on in the season.
Yeah, I hear you. You don't want to downplay it too much because I was in the situation a few weeks ago where my kid showed some flu-like symptoms, and actually it was a little worse than a regular flu. So we took him in. He had some sort of weird blood infection, and he had to spend 12 days in Children's Hospital down here off Stemmons. And look, he's going to be okay. He's been out for a little over a week now. But that was something that we thought started out as the flu, and I think that a lot of other parents think the same thing. Well, what if it's something more?
Well, in that case, we all know our kids better than anyone. You know when this is something that's not going away. It's been over a week. Their fever is high. You can't seem to bring it down with, the usual Tylenol, ibuprofen, and they can't seem to keep up the fluids, whatever it is. That's when you know he or she needs some help. We need to get seen. So there are things that you can pick up on that, no, this isn't a kid just, milking it for whatever to stay at home and have a flu. No, this is something more. And I'm sure your child is going to do just fine.
Yes, he's expected to make a full recovery. He's still dragging a little bit, but a lot of that's just from laying down for 12 days. It's weird, the side effects that can happen from that. But Dr. Chowdhury, what about someone who's in my position? I'm a otherwise totally healthy dude. I'm not really old. I'm not really young. If I get the flu, do I need to go seek the help of a doctor or an emergency room, or should I just get on the couch and tough it out? I'll probably be fine.
I think on the whole, if you're pretty fit and healthy, and you take a dose of ibuprofen or something, your fever comes down. You're still tired, you're still aching, but not terrible. But you know that things are okay. You can eat, you can drink, you can pee, you can poop, all those things. You should be able to kick it in a few days. And don't forget, things, we want everything to be over like yesterday. But sometimes maybe it's your body saying you've been working really, really hard, or you've been under a lot of stress. Take these extra days to just rest and let your body recuperate. But again, just like the children, if you can't bring the temperature down, if you feel like this is above and beyond what is normally what you would experience, it's just really, really tough. I would still go and check it out.
Right. And for us, it just came down to parental instincts. Me and my wife looked at each other and we're like, this is different. We don't know what we're talking about. We didn't go to medical school. But I think as a parent, just trust yourself. And whenever you get that weird little spidey sense, believe in your gut. But here's something else that cracks me up, doctor, is do we have any medicine for the flu? You mentioned like ibuprofen or something. Like if I have pain, there's pain medicine. If I'm having a problem with diabetes, they got insulin. But for the flu, just go tough it out.
There are, especially I think most people, it might, taking medication like generic Tamiflu and things like that can reduce the duration by about a day or two. So that might make a difference, but it also makes a difference if you're in a household where there's a lot of sick people or things like that. So yes, there is medicine. Again, it's viral, and if you're pretty healthy, you should be able to kick it on its own. But know who's around you, know who is in danger of catching it too, in which case there are preventative dosing as well as treatment dosing.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Shahan Chowdhury. She's from Tailored Health in Frisco. So if you're in that northern Dallas area and you're looking for some help, you just heard from her, Shahan Chowdhury, Tailored Health in Frisco. Thank you very much for being on the James Show. And if you have any comments, questions, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is the James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM.
Slamming on your car brakes while traveling 60 miles per hour can take the average car about 8 seconds before coming to a full stop. If you think that's bad, an 18-wheeler can travel up to 26 seconds before coming to a stop, almost as long as this radio commercial. If you or a loved one have been in an 18-wheeler accident, call Thomas J. Henry. We handle serious 18-wheeler accidents and get serious results. Call Thomas J. Henry today. Available 24/7 nights and weekends.
Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio, Texas.
You can do it all by yourself. I say, oh, baby girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you, let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Anyone can get on a roof and put shingles up. Anyone can come to your door knocking after a hailstorm. But wouldn't it be nice if you had someone you could trust with your roof? I have that relationship with a friend of mine who I've been friends with for over 11 years, and he's worked on my home with me before. Roofing Reformation. The owner that I'm real tight with is Rob Vaughn. We have the exact same values, faith, and everything. At Roofing Reformation, they'll do a thorough consultation to explain all your options so that you can choose the right plan for your home or your business. They're going to work with you to adhere to any needs that you have, be in contact with you through the whole project, and they will work with you and your insurance company. That's a really big one. Sometimes they have to advocate to your insurance company for you because a lot of times insurance companies may want to skimp, but Rob's going to fight for you. He's going to make the process seamless and headache-free. Schedule your consultation right now. Go to roofingreformation.com or call 940-210-3009. That's roofingreformation.com. Call 940-210-3009. roofingreformation.com.
Hey, you're up next.
My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
Well, I've been taking it for some time. We saw the ad, and we thought we would give it a try. And I noticed after the first month, we just felt better. I told my doctor, too, and she says, this sounds like a really good product for you to be taking. We plan to take it for life.
I ran this by my doctor. I always run it by her, everything I take, and I told her I've been taking this for a while. Is this okay to take? She goes, oh, this is wonderful for you to take. Keep taking it. She goes, I approve this. This is very good. So she said, yes. She said, this is one thing you can take that's very good. I'm not going to stop taking out into nature.
Step into the new year with a new you. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code DALLAS.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP, Fort Worth, Dallas. 93.3 KLIF-FM, Haltom City, Dallas, Fort Worth. And KPLX-FM HD2, Fort Worth, Dallas.
And now on FM at 93.3. Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus media station. trending now.
The president expected in Dallas in just a couple of hours. I'm Eric Bushman from the newsspray.com WBAP 24/7 News Desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com, WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
Problem spot on Highway 80 eastbound at East Fork Road. That one partially blocking the right lane. It is heavy there back to Collins. About a 5-minute delay there. Also in Dallas on the tollway northbound to Northwest Highway, that right lane's blocked for a wreck. And one trying to clear up in Fort Worth on I-30 westbound at Montgomery. From WBAP's first traffic on the ones, I'm Monty Cook.
Why do so many Texans love Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? Who else has 63 acres with massive savings? New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, got 'em. Why go anywhere else? Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
I'm WFA meteorologist Kyle Roberts. Rain is moving out of North Texas, and tonight will be windy and much cooler. Winds could gust up to 45 miles an hour out of the northwest overnight tonight with a low of 33 by your Tuesday morning. Tuesday will be windy and a lot cooler with a high of 49. Wednesday, though, is back up to 62, then 66 on Thursday. Another front arrives on Friday with a high of 44.
56 degrees in both Dallas and Fort Worth. This news brought to you by the Good Contractors List. A trailblazing Democrat for North Texas will be remembered today with a presidential visit.
President Joe Biden expected to visit Dallas today to pay respects to longtime Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. The former nurse helped to bring hundreds of millions in federal dollars to the Dallas area as the region's most powerful Democrat. EBJ will lie in state at the Hall of State in Dallas Fair Park today. The wake tonight at Concord Church. A funeral service for her will be held there as well on Tuesday. Burial in Austin Wednesday at the Texas State Cemetery. Kimberly James, WBAP News.
The president spoke earlier today at the Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. That's the site where 9 black churchgoers were shot and killed in 2015.
The word of God was pierced by bullets and hate, of rage, propelled by not just gunpowder, but by a poison that has for too long haunted this nation. What is that poison? White supremacy.
That was the president's second official campaign event, the first one taking place on the eve of the 3-year anniversary of the January 6th Capitol riot. Your Money News, the Senate resumed negotiations on border security and a budget today.
Senators are back in town and meeting in person as they try to hash out a compromise on border policy reforms.
We're certainly narrowing down the issues, so when the issues become more narrow, you don't need to meet for as long.
Democrat Chris Murphy has been careful to talk about specifics, and fellow negotiators aren't sure if they'll have an agreement by the end of the week. Senators are working on a deal to change border policy laws in exchange for passing an emergency spending package that would send aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The Dow up 217 points, NASDAQ up 320, the S&P 500 up by 66. Again, the low tonight around 35 degrees. It is 56 in Dallas and in Fort Worth. I'm Eric Bushman. Your next news update is at 4:30. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. WBAP salutes Trophy Club. Trophy Club, thank you for listening today to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
This hour on WBAP is brought to you by the Will Height Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Go to willheightwins.com.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show. I am your host, James Parker. This is News Radio 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Not only do I want you to make us one of your presets, make us number one. I want to be on the one button, all right? I don't want to be second place to anybody. Can I just be your first? I don't have to be your first, but I can be in the number one spot now. Would that work? All right. If you have any comments, I think you might want to chime in on our next guest. So just hold off on them now, because I want to talk to Dr. Deborah Mandel. And she is not the doctor that's going to deal with you if you have the sniffles. This is a doctor that talks about how it's never too late to overcome adversity. And a lot of this is done with conflict resolution and relationship advice. She's written a bunch of books, including Dump That Chump. Great title. Another book that I like the title, Your Boss Is Not Your Mother. So I can already tell I'm going to like her attitude. Welcome to the show, Dr. Barbara Mandel, because first thing I want to talk to you about is now that I have a behavioral doctor on the show is this latest shooting, the Iowa shooting. What does this say about the state of mental health in America?
Hi, thank you for having me on. Well, we are in a dire straits life situation, I think, on our planet right now. There is so much violence and so much mental health issues that are being unaddressed. It's really just tragic. These things are just going to continue to pop up until we have better mental health help for people. It's hard to say exactly what motivates each and every one of these situations, but clearly there's this sense of alienation and isolation and all the social media stuff that's happening and influencers and people being unparented, and just it's like a free-for-all.
Well, there's so many variables here. I have a hard time just putting down a thumbtack really hard on any of these excuses, because for one crowd, the answer is, well, obviously we need some new gun legislation. And for the other crowd, they're saying, well, obviously we have something going on with mental health in America. And I almost feel like they're saying mental health just because they want to come up with something besides guns. We've always had crazy people in America. We've always had people who are isolated. We've always had psychos and stuff. From your point of view, though, Doctor, what do you think is a primary driver of this now increase in what we've seen of the school shootings and the public shooting phenomenon?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And I will stay away from guns and all that, because it's just not my area in terms of speaking with any great opinions or grace about that. But my expertise is in mental health, and I do see that a lot of these situations have a mental health component to it. Of course, that's not the only answer. It's definitely multidimensional, multifaceted, but I do think that we do have a kind of a disintegration of the family and the environment of connectivity and bondedness around people, and there's a lot of isolation and a lot of people sort of just operating under their own to their own tune. And I think people get lost and are not feeling connected, and that can drive people to extremes. And it's not necessarily that somebody has a diagnosis of, let's say, manic depression or schizophrenia that drives these issues. It can be anything as simple as just unattended anxiety and rage, things that people are not attending to in their lives that are causing them such severe distress. Or on the other hand, they could just be psychopaths. I mean, that's out there too.
Well, you did bring up something that is sort of new in society, is the number of divorced families out there. That's not something we had 50 years ago or 100 years ago, or really just going all throughout human history. That is a variable that is kind of unique to our current time. But does this new hostility necessarily go with that?
Well, I can't say that they're perfectly correlated in that way, but I would certainly say that the more disengagement there is in a family system, and the more people are just operating more in isolation and just a free-for-all, like I said before, then the more likely we're going to have an increase in incidents in all sorts of not so good situations in our society. And also I want to say something about the increase in autonomous expression, right? We have a lot of this idea that we should be able to say whatever on our mind whenever we want to say it without regard for other people. And it's kind of breeding this internal narcissism in our society that says, I don't really have to care about anybody else. And the less we think about other people, the easier it is for us to behave outside of the boundaries.
Okay, can we pause here? We have a live report. Eric Bushman is going to update you on an explosion. This is a breaking story that just got pushed across the desk. Downtown hotel in Fort Worth. What do you have, Eric Bushman?
Yeah, so this happened right as I was going on at 4 o'clock, and I was trying to get some confirmation with it during the newscast, which is why I didn't have it. But now that I've been off the air for a couple of minutes, I've gotten some information, James. Fort Worth police are reporting a major incident. That's the only thing they're saying right now. We are getting reports of a possible explosion in the lobby of a building in downtown Fort Worth. This is along Houston Street between 7th and 8th Street. And again, Fort Worth and Dallas both have Houston streets as major streets in their downtowns. This is Fort Worth we're talking about. No confirmation of exactly what happened, but Fort Worth police are saying on social media site X, formerly known as Twitter, that this is a quote major incident. Our media partner WFAA TV is reporting this was a gas explosion, and there are injuries. Again, this is in a building between 7th and 8th Street on Houston Street in downtown Fort Worth. We are standing by for any updates from either MedStar or Fort Worth Police, and I will send it back to you.
Thank you, Eric Bushman. We return to Dr. Deborah Mandel. Sorry, we're a little jumpy about such things in the Dallas area. We have the president coming to visit this afternoon, and we don't have the best history with presidential visits. So we're just, anything that happens like that, we're going to jump all over it as a news station. So thank you for your patience there, Dr. Deborah.
Absolutely. Of course. I completely understand.
Okay, so one thing that sticks out, it sounds so funny that you say these people have a problem with, being socially isolated, and that just sounds wild considering between the social media and the computers and how connected we are. How could anybody be socially isolated in 2024? But it's happening.
Well, guess what? Those are unreal relationships. Those are not true relationships. The relationships that we form with people where we can see them and talk to them and we make eye contact and we are getting a sense of their body language, those are real relationships. The stuff that's happening on social media, we're idealizing influencers and people who are just spouting off whatever they feel like spouting off. And it's not necessarily grounded in anything. A lot of these people don't have any education. I'm not dissing that. I mean, I think a lot of people are incredibly smart and have a lot to say about things, but it really is that term free for all. There's no kind of confinement or there's no community. And so, yes, you say, how could anybody be socially isolated? It's kind of the interesting definition of we call a psychopath today in diagnostic terms is antisocial personality disorder. But they're not antisocial at all. In fact, they're incredibly social. They're very manipulative. They're very charming. They're not antisocial at all. But it's not having the socialization and the empathy and compassion that we really need in relationships. And I think that's completely lost in social media.
Yeah, look, what I hear is something that I keep seeing people try to replace dads, and you just can't do it. It doesn't matter how many Facebook friends you have or how many people liked your last little X post or whatever. If you're from a broken home and you don't have that nice, tight nuclear family, that's when things seem to go a little haywire sometimes. So, Dr. Deborah, thank you very much for your time. How can we learn more about your books and your psychology practice?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want to mention my new book is called Sassy and Rude, Her New Attitude, and it's a tough love guide for moms on how to get back a little of that sugar and spice in their maybe not so nice adult daughter. So that's a lot about what we're talking about is how to create those intimate and connected bonds that we really need in our lives to have this world be a better place. And you can find me online at drdebraonline.com, DRDEBRA online.com. And would love any feedback anybody wants to write to me. You can find my contact on my website.
All right, Dr. Deborah Mandel is her name. Dr. Deborah Online is her website. Thank you very much for your time there. If you have any comments on what Dr. Deborah was throwing out there, look, this is a serious problem that isn't so easy as, well, we just got to pass a new law or we just got to do X, Y, Z. It sounds like a bigger, familiar, societal, cultural solution that not just one person is going to fix by themselves. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM.
Here's what we're talking about.
The law that we passed simply enforces the laws passed by Congress.
I think there's enough Republicans and Democrats that can say, are we doing the right thing at the border?
We've been adding $10 billion a day to the debt over the last 3 months.
Texas has high flu activity right now.
Stay connected for updates all day.
News Talk 820 WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Shane again with Mullen & Mullen Injury Law Firm. I don't have a funny nickname or a silly TV spot. We do have over 40 years experience helping injured North Texans and consistent top results per topverde.com. Call 214-INJURED. If no recovery, no expense or fees. Been that way since 83. MullenandMullen.com.
Hi there, it's Pete Thompson with a question. Is your retirement nest egg prepared for the tax bomb that is about to hit retirees in 2023? Learn more this weekend on DFW Retirement Radio, Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., right here on WBAP.
If you have cancer, you have a powerful choice. An advanced cancer treatment available right here in North Texas at Texas Center for Proton Therapy.
Proton therapy precisely targets your cancer, sparing healthy tissue for fewer side effects. No doctor's referral is needed, so visit TexasProtons.com to find out if you're a candidate. Powerful cancer treatment, a powerful choice. The power of proton therapy at Texas Center for Proton Therapy.
Hi, it's Brandy with the Good Feet store. Are you suffering with foot pain and nothing you've tried has helped? This is Dr. Spielfogel, one of the Good Feet store's medical advisors.
The majority of people will definitely have some type of a foot problem over a period of their lifetime. I'm Dr. William Spielfogel, Chief Division of Podiatry, Lenox Hill Hospital, Northwell Health.
Let's hear what Dr. Spielfogel has to say about Good Feet arch supports.
The benefits of Good Feet arch supports are numerous, including pain relief, more comfort, better balance, improved performance, injury prevention, and overall superior functionality. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support system.
See what Good Feet arch supports can do for you with 7 DFW locations. Visit goodfeet.com to find the location near you.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store today for a free fitting and test walk. You have nothing to lose except your pain.
What is Dale Walmsley, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, up to in today's market?
I'm out there right now looking and buying everything I can get my hands on for a better deal than what I could get it for a week before. And I'll just keep buying. I did that back in 2008. I bought a property that was worth $35,000 a door. I bought it for $26,000 a door. Next month or so, I bought the same age property, and I bought it for like $19,000 a door. But by buying at 26 when they were getting killed from 35 down to 26, buying at 26, let the broker know I was a buyer in a downward spiraling market. And so from that point on, I bought 3 or 4 more. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 4 more I bought from there. And the brokers were just bringing them to me, go, look, you seem to be the only guy buying right now.
Are you ready to take advantage of the wave of opportunity coming to those who know what they're doing? Join us for the free online workshop at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
At Airco Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, they're proud to have thousands of 5-star ratings from DFW homeowners. When you need help with your AC, heat, plumbing, or drains, Airco is always here for you. Have an older heating and AC system? Now's the time to replace it with a new, reliable, energy-efficient one. Trade in your old system and get $100 for each year old it is. Up to $2,000 off. Call 877-ITS-AIRCO or schedule online at airco.com.
Think Airco, we bring comfort home.
Got delays still. Highway 80 eastbound before East Fork Road. You've got at least one lane taken away. That's still heavy back toward Collins. Dallas North Tollway northbound at Northwest Highway, the right lane taken away. Also got an issue in Grand Prairie on I-20 westbound at Beltline Road. That one blocks the right lane. It's heavy back to Mountain Creek Parkway. And then Fort Worth Street closure. Throckmorton at Houston Street shut down. Explosion there in that area. It's got a couple of those streets blocked in the area, so you might want to avoid it if you can. With WBAP's First Traffic, I'm Monty Cook.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Brought to you by Balance of Nature.
Balance of Nature. Get your daily recommended whole fruits and vegetables by calling 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and get free shipping and 35% off your first order by using discount code DALLAS. That's discount code DALLAS.
The campaigning has heated up. Democracy 2024. Keep connected, DFW. News Talk 820, WBAP.
And now on FM at 93.3.
Hey there, welcome. This is The James Show. I am your host, James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3, and I want that number 1 button on your presets. I want it. Hey, real quick, I want to check in with Eric. Hey, Eric. So we had the situation going on with an explosion in downtown Fort Worth. You can understand why, with our history here in Dallas, we are a little sketchy because the president's coming to visit this afternoon.
Yeah, we don't like big things happening in Dallas when the president comes to town.
No. So give me the details, because it sounds like I got a little worried, but it's totally unrelated, hopefully.
Right, yeah. I mean, the president has nothing to do with Fort Worth today. The president is going to be at Dallas Love Field and then motorcading, we believe, 35E down toward Highway 67 and I-20 where the Concord Church is, and he's going to be staying solidly in Dallas County. This is breaking, though, in downtown Fort Worth. This is along Houston Street between 8th and 7th. We have, and I'm looking at a picture right now, and it appears to be the lobby of the Sandman Hotel. Clearly an explosion. WFAA TV, our media reporting partners, is reporting that this is a gas-related explosion. And from what I can tell by looking at these images, the blown out glass appears to be limited to the lobby and not the entire building. So I'm not going to say good news, because I mean, that's, I guess better news than if it was any higher up. But this is apparently the situation. We are standing by to get any official word. Fort Worth police are only calling this a major incident. Obviously it is. But anyone in downtown Fort Worth, you want to stay out of this area. You're not going to be in if you try. You're not going to be let in if you try. For those of you stuck in that area, we wish you the best of luck trying to get out. But all we know now is reported injuries after what Channel 8 is calling a gas-related explosion. And we understand this is the Sandman Hotel, Houston Street, between 7th and 8th Streets, downtown Fort Worth.
All right, thank you for the breaking news from Eric across the glass in the news booth. All right, if you have any comments, questions, 800-288-WBAP. I don't know if I'm getting the full story on this next one. Have you heard about this? Because I haven't heard about this from anyone else. I was just flipping through. I saw this on usatoday.com. But there is a moon mission that's launching today. And the United Launch Alliance Vulcan Centaur is what the project is called. This isn't a SpaceX. This isn't a NASA thing. This is another private sector space company. And they're going to have a big old payload that is going to have a lunar lander, which in normal speak means they're going to land on the moon. Now, not with a human being, but this is part of the U.S.'s return to the moon. This is one of the steps here. Now, a couple of cool things that they're doing, well, I think it's cool, is there's a couple of other projects that are hitching a ride on this, and one of them is going to put the remains of some very prominent, sort of related to the space history. They're going to put the remains of 2 human beings on the moon. And while you and I are probably just totally apathetic to the idea of human remains on the moon, I mean, like, I don't want to say who cares, but I mean, it kind of is a who cares. The Navajo Nation, not a fan. Navajo Nation says, you can't do that. We hold the moon sacred. Well, hang on a second. The Navajo Nation has, as part of their religion, they hold the moon as this sacred thing that cannot be tampered with. Well, listen, I respect everyone's religion. I really hate it when people disrespect my religion. I try not to disrespect other people's religion. And whether you think you're a Christian, a Catholic, a Muslim, a Jew, a Jedi, if you worship the flying spaghetti monster in outer space, I don't care what you believe in. You believe in David Koresh, whatever. You can't call dibs on the whole moon. You can't say, nope, can't do that. Why? Well, because we've deemed it to be sacred. Oh, yeah? How does that work? Because there's a gray area when it comes to something like Mount Rushmore, where, the Sioux Indians were like, well, this is our ancient hunting lands, and our forefathers have hunted here for centuries. All right, but I mean, do you have a deed? I mean, you weren't here when we got here. You just rode off, and then 5 years later you came back. They're like, yeah, we used to hunt here like 5 years ago. See, it starts getting a little a little bit of a gray area. Because look, if you're living on a plot of land and you have like your family has lived there for time immemorial, you got a great claim on it. If it's someplace you kind of casually go, like every 5 years or so to hunt buffalo or whatever, you're starting to lose my interest. But when you're talking about the moon, something none of you have ever been to, you can't call dibs. And is that how it works? Fine. Then I have a new religion. It's called the religion. I'm a Parker-Farian. And we hold Mars as sacred. So boom, I own all of Mars. It's that easy. I own. If you can't bury anyone on Mars or have a building or carve something out of a mountain without my permission, because my religion says Mars is sacred, and now I own the whole thing. And you know what? The whole asteroid belt, I'm calling dibs on that too. So whenever y'all send out some probe to get H3 helium isotopes or whatever y'all are going to do, I'm going to have to get some. I'm going to have to get some residuals. I'm going to have to get some royalties off that because you're in my sacred space. So if it sounds like I'm making it up, go check it out. The Navajo Nation has a protest here, and again, not to diminish anyone's religion, but the leader of the Navajo Nation. God, if you want me to sound really dumb, I can try and say his name. But I probably shouldn't because it makes me sound so white and stupid. His name is Boo Nygren. Buunygren. How am I supposed to? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like Elizabeth Warren's uncle or something. We'll see how this works out, though, because, we see some frivolous lawsuits, but this is like the ultimate. I called dibs. My ancestors called dibs on the moon hundreds of years ago. Come on now. All right, coming up next, we have a glorious moment to talk about. Steve Lamb is joining us from the WBAP Morning Show to talk about the Dallas Cowboys trip into the playoffs, where history is going to start, this historic Super Bowl playoff run. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, yeah, I'm way ahead of myself. This is just going to be the first of our 3 playoff victories en route to our 6th Super Bowl of all time, right? Steve Lamb's going to tell me how crazy I am coming up next. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Start your year stress-free and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Ernie Brown. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. With over 10,000 five-star reviews, Mark Spain Real Estate is the most trusted and experienced real estate team in the U.S. Their client, Barbara, said Mark Spain Real Estate not only helped us sell our home, but we were able to get rid of all of our bills, start over, and more. I will recommend Mark Spain Real Estate to anybody looking to sell their home and get a cash offer. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Man, you talk about hitting a grand slam, just feeling just incredible. And I haven't felt this great in years. I'm 52, and with these, wow. And I just appreciate, I'm impressed. I've never felt this great. I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Honey, I am like a different woman. Finally one day I kept seeing that commercial, and I said, what the heck? What do I got to lose? I started feeling a little bit better. So I got my sister on them. I got my daughter on them. I can't say enough about them. I really can't. Those commercials that you all do is the truth.
Step into the new year with a new you. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-2468751 and get this exclusive holiday offer by using discount code Dallas.
Hi, Brad Barton for Red Mountain Weight Loss. You hear a lot about Ozempic helping people with type 2 diabetes control their glucose, and in the process, they manage to lose some weight. But it's a weekly shot in the doctor's office, and it can upset your stomach along with other side effects. Well, Red Mountain Weight Loss now has its own prescription semaglutide that comes in tablet form. No doctor visits, no side effects, just weight loss up to 15 pounds a month, and at half the price of Ozempic. Find out more. Just go to redmountainweightloss.com. That's redmountainweightloss.com.
DFW's News, Talk, Traffic, and Weather Station. News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3.
And now on FM at 93.3. Streaming live on our free mobile app.
A Cumulus media station. Trending now.
A reported gas explosion at a downtown Fort Worth hotel. I'm Eric Bushman from the newsspray.com WBAP 24/7 news desk.
ClassicChevrolet.com. WBAP's first traffic and weather.
On the ones.
Making away from Forney to Sunnyvale, Highway 80 eastbound shut down between Collins and East Fork Road for a wreck. Already about a 20 to 30 minute backup there. The I-20 westbound at Beltline Road in Grand Prairie, that one has that right lane taken away. That's heavy. Back to Cedar Ridge, about a 15-minute backup. In the downtown Fort Worth area, police activity and explosion right around 8th Street in Houston. That's got several streets blocked off in the area, so avoid it if you can. WBAP's first traffic on the ones. I'm Monty Cook.
Why do so many Texans love classic Chevrolet and Grapevine? Who else has 63 acres with massive savings? New Silverados, more than anyone. Malibus, Blazers, Equinox, got them. Why go anywhere else? Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. Find new roads.
The WBAP forecast: wind advisories in effect through 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Mostly clear and windy tonight, a low in the mid-30s. It is 56 in Dallas and in Fort Worth. This news brought to you by McGowan Publishing. This is breaking. Fort Worth police reporting a major incident. We are getting reports of a gas explosion in the lobby of the Sandman Hotel in downtown Fort Worth. That's what Monty was talking about during the traffic update. This is along Houston Street between 7th and 8th Streets. All areas around there are blocked off. You cannot get in. You don't want to go in, and police want you to stay away. There are reports of up to, one report said 10 people injured. Our media partner WFAA is reporting that this was a gas explosion, and there are injuries. There are reports, as I just said, of up to 10 people possibly injured, and we are standing by for any official word from either MedStar or Fort Worth police. Meanwhile, all of this is going on as we're just an hour and a half away. President Joe Biden expected to visit Dallas tonight to take part in a memorial for Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson.
EBJ will lie in state at the Hall of State in Dallas Fair Park today, with the wake to be held tonight at Concord Church. A funeral service will be held there Tuesday morning, and Johnson will be buried at the Texas State Cemetery in Austin on Wednesday. Johnson served in the U.S. House for 3 decades, helping to bring hundreds of millions of federal dollars to the Dallas region, widely regarded the region's most powerful and trailblazing Democrat. Kimberly James, WBAP News.
Your money news: Wall Street rose again today as yields eased on the bond market. Boeing dragging lower after one of its jets suffered an in-flight blowout that we've been reporting on today. The Dow closed up 217 points, NASDAQ up 320, the S&P 500 up by 66. Going over our breaking news again, we have a gas explosion in the lobby of the Sandman Hotel in downtown Fort Worth along Houston Street between 7th and 8th Street. There are reports of up to possibly 10 people hurt. We are standing by to get more information about that activity in downtown Fort Worth. Again, the low tonight around 35. It is 56 degrees in both Dallas and Fort Worth. I'm Eric Bushman. Your next news update is at 5 o'clock. Check back several times throughout your day and keep connected, DFW, to News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
It's all about the playoffs now with the regular season over in the National Football League. From our Mullen & Mullen Law Firm Sports Desk, I'm Steve Lamb. Cowboys knew before yesterday's game against the Commanders that to secure home field in the postseason, all they had to do was win, and they did. And they also know the Green Bay Packers will be in town.
I mean, I've had a good year. I haven't watched them a whole lot, but yeah, the drama of it, I'm sure you guys will love. I will not participate this year, but it's playoff time. It doesn't matter who we play, to be honest with you.
Got to beat whoever you play. Mike McCarthy lost his job in Green Bay back in 2018, took a year off. Matt LaFleur got the job with the Packers, and after a 2-5 start, here they are.
I think it's rewarding the fact that everybody counted us out. We were struggling. We held it all together, and to get here was special.
They're still a huge underdog against Dallas on Sunday afternoon. And then you've got this takeaway from former Cowboys coach Jason Garrett.
Dallas is better than Green Bay. The way they've won all these games in a row down there is they start fast, and they get up a couple scores, and then Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence and all these guys pin their ears back and go. So if Dallas can play that kind of a game, they're going to blow Green Bay out of the stadium.
But like we talked about going into the weekend, on any given Sunday, you just never know. That's your check on sports. I'm Steve Lamb.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance is making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
News Talk 820 WBAP is now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset and tell a friend.
Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. I am your host, James Parker, on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on 93.3 FM. We will be watching the story as it's developing. It's brand new breaking news. Hotel in downtown Fort Worth had an explosion that is suspected to be related to a gas leak. It's the Sandman Hotel. It is just a block away from the Fort Worth Convention Center in downtown, and it's about a 20-story building, so whenever you have something happen on the lobby level of one of those, there's a lot of weight on top of that, not to make anybody any more nervous than they are. But Eric Bushman is keeping up with it right now. I'm told we have a reporter on the way to the scene, so whatever little details that we're getting through now, we'll be able to add to it as long as you keep listening right here to 820 WBAP and on FM at 93.3. I wanted to talk to Steve Lamb now. He is the sports director on the morning show that you hear on WBAP, because you listen all day. And Steve, I'm getting excited about what's going on with the Cowboys, because not only am I optimistic, I'm starting to get over my skis. I'm starting to look at the setup and be like, how do we not win the Super Bowl this year, Steve? Am I way too ahead of myself?
James, how old are you?
46.
Yeah, you're getting way ahead of yourself. You should know that at 46 years old, having followed this team for the last 30 years through the desert, or on a trip to the moon, or whatever you were talking about in the last hour, and the Native Americans. I thought, what a great tie-in with him just playing the team that used to be called the Redskins. I was trying to find a way to jump between the two and continue your conversation. I have followed this team. My first trip to a Super Bowl was back in 1992 with Jimmy Johnson, when the Cowboys and Troy Aikman and the triplets went to Pasadena and beat the Buffalo Bills, and then the following year in Atlanta, and then 2 years after that with Barry Switzer, going back to the west coast of the desert out to Arizona. And that was in 1995. If you would have told me they wouldn't be back to another Super Bowl until now, and they're not there yet, I'd have said, you're crazy. Not with this owner, because he's going to spend and do whatever it takes to get the team that can win it all year after year or every few years and be a dynasty. They were that dynasty in the 90s. They've been a joke since then in terms of talking about the Super Bowl. And you as a fan end up going, what just happened? Well, it was the Dallas Cowboys that just happened. All this talk about how great we are, but they can't get over that hump once they get to this point. It's been a great regular season. Once again, 12 wins. But it doesn't mean anything unless they're playing in the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl in a few more weeks out in Las Vegas.
But, Steve, we can't lose forever. We can't have a Dez catch. We can't have another great Aaron Rodgers comeback in the last second. I mean, that can't happen every time. So it's eventually got to be our turn again, right, Steve?
James, this is the reason we have liquor stores, so you can go and get something to drink and ease the pain.
Right.
I want to – I'm supposed to be, as a sports anchor, objective. I can't be a homer, or I'm not supposed to be a homer. Yes, I want to think with CeeDee Lamb, who went to my university in Oklahoma and has become this just unbelievable force in catching the football. I want to think that combination with Prescott and Dak will lead them to the promised land. But I've also watched Dak all of a sudden show up, and then he's not that great. He has not been, when it's been the postseason, that player that you have to have. A great quarterback is what will get you there. Is he great? Yes. All that talk about the MVP, I don't think he's going to win it again this year. I don't know. This Green Bay team, even though Dallas is a huge favorite, even though Dallas is playing where they've won 16 in a row at home, they should win on Sunday afternoon. They should. But Green Bay, Jordan Love has all of a sudden become the hot topic in quarterbacks in the league, and the way this guy has developed, replacing Aaron Rodgers, and what a mess that was. So don't be shocked, James, if on Sunday we're all sitting there going, what just happened?
Don't jinx him, Steve. Look, part of the reason I'm in such a good mood is not necessarily solely based on the Cowboys' ascent, but also I've really enjoyed watching the Eagles just fall down the stairs for the last 5-6 games.
And that in itself is a great point in a team that was 10-1 a few weeks ago and now has lost 5 of the 6 going down the stretch. Would you rather be a team that gets off to a hot start at the beginning of the season, or a team that comes on like the Buffalo Bills have, and you win it late to win your division, and you're so hot going in? The Cowboys, if we're going to keep it real, who was buying what the Cowboys were selling 2 weeks ago after going to Buffalo and getting their butts kicked and then going to Miami and losing to the Dolphins? Did you think that was a Super Bowl team then?
No, I was slitting my wrists vertically instead of horizontally just to make sure it happened right, Steve. Hey, just a reminder out there, we have some breaking news going on. An explosion downtown Fort Worth. So if anyone's down in that area, please call in and let us know. We'll dump Steve and we'll put you on because we have a guy on the way. We have a reporter on the way. But if any listeners are already there, have anything they could add to it, we'd love to hear from you. 800-288-WBAP. I just wanted to throw that in there, Steve. 800-288-9227. Okay, so I like our chances against Green Bay. We'll probably play a team that I think is beatable next week. Can we get past the 49ers?
If you're going by the analytics, if you're going by what, and I don't believe in the analytics, but everybody talks about it. Right now, you're looking at San Francisco and the Baltimore Ravens playing in the Super Bowl out in Las Vegas. Not the Cowboys and the Ravens, not the Cowboys and Buffalo, but that's what everybody's saying right now. Can Dallas beat anybody on any given Sunday? Sure they can. But their defense at times, you've seen what the 49ers were able to do in running the football. We've seen other teams do it. So James, I like to go on the air, and with Ernie Brown, we'll talk all the time. I've won a lot of money off him making bets on the Rangers and other sports that we have a lot of fun with. But I would not take $100 right now and put it on the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl.
Well, you get credit for honesty, for not being a homer. I'm the worst homer ever. It's caused me a lot of pain, though, Steve. A lot of pain. Especially
that's what happens when, almost as old as you are, next month I will be at WBAP 38 years. So you can't always be a homer 24/7.
All right, that's why you're a better sports guy than me.
Unless it's my Oklahoma Sooners, and then everybody knows I'm a homer.
All right, there you go. Steve Lamb, you can hear him on the morning show, WBAP. He's the sports director. Thank you very much for your time, Steve. We'll have you back on soon, hopefully to gloat about the Cowboys win come Monday. Reminder, we have what's suspected to be a gas explosion in the lobby of the Sandman Hotel. It's at Houston and 7th Street, downtown Fort Worth. We have Eric Bushman, our news guy, watching it right now. We have a reporter on the way. But if there's anyone in downtown, if you have your eyes on it or you see something or you know something that we haven't said already on air, we'd love to get an eyewitness account and maybe a little more information before the show's up. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And if we don't get any updates before the end of the show, the guys are going to stay with it. Just keep listening to WBAP, and they'll break in with some more breaking news as soon as it becomes available. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on 93.3 FM.
We are constantly being told that the economy is better than we think it is. This is Casey Bartholomew. And coming up Tuesday morning at 9:04, if things are so great, then why is credit card debt going through the roof? Have you had to rely more on your credit card during this fantastic economy? We'll talk about it. The Casey Bartholomew Show, weekday mornings from 9 to 11 on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Guys, your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. So if you're feeling a lack of energy and drive, it could be caused by low T. Get your levels tested at Centergenics. They make it quick and easy, and with the convenience of an on-site lab, you'll get your results back at your first visit. At Centergenics, you'll get customized care from testosterone specialists. So conquer your New Year's resolution. Go to FixMyLowT.com to book online. That's FixMyLowT.com. Located in Prosper, McKinney, and Walnut Hill near North Park Mall.
Hi, I'm Dallas tax attorney Nick Namath, here with Jamie Flores, the managing partner at the law offices of Nick Namath.
We help a lot of clients who have all kinds of IRS problems. One thing that we hear often is that people want to take care of their own tax problems, but keep putting it off, just like that overdue oil change, going to the gym, or mowing the lawn. But procrastinate paying your taxes, and the IRS will make you pay the price. They can freeze your bank accounts, garnish your paychecks, seize your passport. They can even put you behind bars.
That's right, Jamie, but you can avoid all those headaches. We have helped thousands of people just like you with IRS problems. I have over 20 years experience serving both individuals and businesses in Dallas and Fort Worth. A meeting with us is free and confidential, so don't procrastinate when it comes to the IRS.
If you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, tax liens, or unfiled returns, call Nick Namath for a free and confidential consultation at 972-484-0829 or go to myiRSteam.com.
I want to take you to the Department of the Bedroom. Yes, Chris Crock here to tell you about BlueChew.com. It's important for our marriages to be A-OK in this department. Nothing to be ashamed of. If they're not, Blue Chew can help. Maybe you've lost some of your youthful confidence and you're unsure if you'll be ready to go when the time is right. Try giving BlueChew.com a visit. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but at a fraction of the cost, and it's chewable because Blue Chew is an online prescription service. There's no visits to the doctor, no awkward conversations, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. It's a simple process. I just went through it myself. Why not have some fun? Check it out. Go to BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers like I did to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and it's all online. And here's an awesome deal for you. Try Blue Chew for free when you use the promo code KROC, K-R-O-K, at checkout. Just pay the $5 shipping. That's promo code K-R-O-K, KROC, to get your first month free. Promo code K-R-O-K, KROC. BlueChew.com.
For nearly 30 years, Thomas J. Henry has fought day in and day out for every client we've had the honor of representing. In our town, in our community, we will always be the name you trust. Thomas J. Henry. Available 24/7 nights and weekends. San Antonio, Texas.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, our Snap Secure dental implants will let you eat and speak with confidence at a price that's affordable. So if you think you can't afford dental implants, think again. Our 16 practices in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are open to serve you. Schedule a free new smile consultation by calling 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com to find the practice near you. That's 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com. Schedule your new smile consultation today. Affordable Dentures and Implants. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile.
Is foot pain keeping you from living life? Go to goodfeet.com to find the nearest location to you for a free fitting and test swab and experience the Good Feet feeling for yourself.
Doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hey, you're up next.
My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool drops.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
I'm on I-20, the eastbound side there, right before you get up to East Fork Road, that one clearing out. But there is a wreck on Highway 80 eastbound that has the freeway shut down at Collins. That's still very slow on the approach. I-30 eastbound at Goliad and Rockwall, that one blocks that left lane. Wreck on I-20 westbound at Beltline Road, now off to the shoulder. We do have one in Fort Worth, I-30 westbound at Camp Bowie. That one taken away 2 left lanes. And an explosion in downtown Fort Worth. That has some streets closed off right around Throckmorton and 8th Street. From WBAP's First Traffic, I'm Monty Cook.
This report is brought to you by GiveMeTheVIN.com, America's best car buyer.
Hey guys, John Clay Wolf here. We don't just do cars, we do all kinds of stuff, but one thing's for certain. I do love to buy cars, so remember GiveMeTheVIN.com if you're selling yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
From the Airco AC Heating and Plumbing Studio, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey, welcome back. This is The James Show. I'm your host, James Parker, on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. So I just saw some pictures of that explosion downtown, and they were just floating it up on local news here. I didn't have the sound on. But I'm asking again, if you're down there in downtown Fort Worth and you have any sort of info about what's going on, if you saw it, if you drove past it, if you worked there, if you were supposed to go there and someone told you to hold up, we'd love to hear from you. 800-288-9227. Just tell me what you see. The Sandman Hotel on Houston Street between 7th and 8th, downtown Fort Worth. Big building, kind of hard to dismiss. There was this suspicious package last week where they had to have like the bomb squad or something come check out this backpack that was left outside of a vape shop in Mesquite or something ridiculous. And I always think that's weird because there's not going to be a terror attack on Johnny's vape shop in Mesquite, but we're talking about a 20-story building in downtown Fort Worth, just a block or so away from the convention center. This is the kind of high-density, high-profile thing that we've seen before. We've seen them try and blow up the World Trade Center. It started in 93 with an attack that was what? A giant explosion in the downstairs parking garage. So I'm not trying to freak anybody out. You can just understand why we may be a little concerned, because you put on top of that, the President of the United States is coming down, and he's going to be here in a couple hours, less than a couple hours. He's supposed to touch down in like 6:30 or something, right? So look, forgive us in the Dallas area for being a little skittish about presidential visits, but that's what we got going on now. I would love to hear from you if you have any information that you could pass along to, more so than anything, just calm the rest of us down. 800-288-9227. So if you see anything, let us know. And even after the show is over, we have the news guys that are watching this. Eric will break in if something huge happens. We have a reporter on the way, so you will be getting an eyewitness account, whether it's a listener or from directly us. Coming up, so stay on WBAP. Last night was the Golden Globes. And for the non-entertainment related people, the Golden Globes has always been understood by me as when they just mash the Emmys and the Academy Awards together. Because the Emmys are like, let's see who had the best TV stuff. And the Academy Awards, who had the best movie stuff. And the Golden Globes are like, let's do both. And they also added stand-up this year, which is kind of cool. But I don't really put a lot of weight in these awards. Like, if they tell me this was the best show of the year, I don't necessarily believe them, but I do recognize that I've watched these award shows, found out some shows that have gotten all kinds of accolades and walked off with trophies, and then I'll go check out that show, and you know what? That was pretty good. So it does serve some function here. There's usable information in the Golden Globes, but I'm certainly not going to sit down and spend 2 hours watching it. I'll just read the reviews the next day. And so that's what I'm doing for you. Save you the time of watching all that. I'm reading the reviews the next day. And here's the one I'm coming away with. Succession is the big winner this year. And Succession is in its last year to win stuff. And this is an amazing show. If you haven't seen this before and you don't mind hearing the F word 600 times every episode, you'll probably like this. It's supposed to be a drama, but there's a lot of unintentionally funny stuff. It started out like a parody almost of the Rupert Murdoch family with Fox News and what was going on with that Succession drama, but it kind of left that storyline. There's really great writing, there's great acting, and here's a little secret about living in 2024 that we haven't had to deal with our entire lives. Now, TV shows are superior to movies. Your entire life, movies have been superior to TV. They spent more money on them. It's a longer exposition. You get more character development. They're more hyped. They're more popular. This is where the big stars used to come from. But now it has switched to TV, and it's all because of the way we watch it. We don't watch it linear anymore. If you're going to binge watch it, then you're de facto watching a movie that just lasts for 8 episodes. You're watching an 8-hour movie if you watch a season of Succession. So now, who gets the better character development? Who gets the better depth of story? Who gets the better long storylines? Who can tell a better story? It's TV. TV is now better than movies. I said it. You know it's true. Don't argue with me, because if you think about it, you know I'm right. And Succession is one of these where the only